support he gets from his own and the kind of fear that you hear from opposition fans when he's on the ball.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, footballers are all actors and actresses, and they're coming to an arena to perform. And that's what Paul Pogba is. He's got the tricks, the flicks, the passing. He's got, the way he looks, he's got an aura, he's got a swag about him. And look, he'll be loving. Every player wants to play in front of a big crowd, and, he laps that up, and you can see that, so the fans will be happy the way he's performing, and I think the manager will be, because, like I said, he was a class above everybody else today, both in and out of possession.
One of the other things that was noticeable as well is, we talked about how referees are letting the games flow a little bit more. A bouncing St Mary's, when those big challenges went in, just really raised the temperature of the game. It was great.
Oh, it was brilliant. And again, we have to applaud the referees, because they're not used to having the fans, and every time there's a decision or a tackle goes in, the crowd erupt, and they've got to get back to that familiarity of sticking in their lane and making the decisions that are right for them. And he let the game go, and it was really good, and that was enjoyable. One tackle went in for Southampton, then Man United did it, and it was like I said, at the end of the game, both sets of teams were kind of hands in their laps and their knees, thinking that was a physical game, and it was. And it's because the referee allowed that to happen, and it was honestly, it was so fun to watch today.
Karen is staying with us for a little while longer. We will be back at the Emirates shortly. So Southampton won, Manchester United won, Wolves 0, Tottenham 1. So Wolves with 6 points from their 2 games, joining Brighton, Liverpool with maximum points so far, albeit Chelsea, of course, could join them. They will do if they get a victory at the Emirates. Let's check back in on the final day of the Women's Open at Carnoustie. Ian Carter.
Joint leaders at the moment, Minjee Lee of Australia playing the 16th. She's 6 under par for her round today to move to 10 under par. The American Lizette Salas is also at 10 under. She's just birdied the 6th. It looks like Anna Nordqvist will as well, so that would turn it into a 3-way tie for the lead at 10 under par. Georgia Hall has just birdied the 11th. That's got her to 8 under par within 2 shots of the lead, and that's where we find the Scottish amateur as well. Louise Duncan still going along very nicely, a birdie at the first. It's been par golf thereafter. She's safely on the green of the par 3 8th, and at 8 under par she's within 2 shots of the lead.
Absolutely brilliant stories potentially brewing there. We've got live commentary right now on 5 Live Sports Extra, and live text commentary as well on the BBC Sport website. Earlier in Scotland it finished Dundee 2, Hibs 2. It's half time in the game between Ross County and Rangers. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, second half just getting underway as we speak, in a really absorbing first half, Steve. One that we thought that Rangers were absolutely cruising after 19 minutes, because there were 2 goals to the good. On 15 minutes, Joe Aribo scored a wonderful left foot curler from just inside the box into the top left hand corner, and then on 19 minutes Connor Goldson, former Brighton defender, had a downward header that made it 2-0 to Steven Gerrard's men, and it looked as if they were going to score more. But then just before half time, in 40 minutes, Harry Clark, the Arsenal defender who's on loan up with Malky Mackay's Ross County on a season-long loan, he was at Oldham last season, and only his second appearance for Ross County. He was in the right place at the right time when Jordan White's effort was only saved by Alan McGregor and only half cleared, and he was there just to slam it in from about 6 or 7 yards. So really has teed things up for an interesting second half. Rangers now shooting towards a very boisterous 1,000 or so away fans in that end there, so it'll be interesting to see whether they can score any into that end. It's Ross County 1, Rangers 2.
Just getting underway in the second half in the other 2 3 o'clock kickoffs. Hearts 0, Aberdeen 0 and St Johnstone 0. Dundee United 0. To the Emirates after the news with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Armed Forces Minister James Heappey says the evacuation from Kabul of British people and eligible Afghans is speeding up, with more than 1,700 people flown out of Afghanistan in the past 24 hours. 7 people died yesterday during chaotic crowding around the airport, but Mr Heappey says the Taliban's helping to speed up the process by marshalling people into queues. The former head of the British Army and crossbench peer, Lord Dannatt, says the practicalities of the withdrawal have been badly planned.
It would have been much more sensible to have evacuated US, UK, other entitled nationals, our interpreters, our locally engaged civilian staff, before we carried out the final troop withdrawal. Instead, what we've done is done the whole thing back to front, and now have put soldiers back into the airport, but have got no control over the rest of Kabul city. That's the cause of the chaos.
Boris Johnson, who currently chairs the G7 group of industrialised nations, has called a G7 summit next Tuesday to discuss the situation in Afghanistan. A 54-year-old man has been charged with murdering his wife in Leeds. Eileen Barrett has died from her injuries after being found at the couple's home last Sunday. Mark Barrett, who was arrested in Murray on Thursday, is due in court tomorrow. A government scheme is being set up to find out how much natural protection people have after becoming infected with COVID. Blood tests will be offered to thousands of adults in the UK. Here's our correspondent Charlotte Gallagher.
Anyone who tests positive with a PCR test from Tuesday will be eligible to be tested. And you'll actually get 2 of these finger prick tests. The first one has to be done as soon as possible. The second is done 28 days later. And that will allow scientists to see the levels of antibodies that have been built up in the body.
Scotland's Education Secretary Shirley-Anne Somerville is self-isolating after testing positive for COVID-19. It isn't clear if she's recently been in contact with other members of the Scottish Cabinet or MSPs. Police in Edinburgh are asking for help in tracing a gunman who fired shots at a house on Friday night while 2 children were inside and others played nearby. No one was injured.
Esteban Ocon, the 24-year-old Frenchman, swings through the final corner in the blue Alpine. He has soaked up so much pressure, and Esteban Ocon, in a remarkable Grand Prix, takes his first Formula 1 win. Vettel across the line in second, just 0.8 of a second ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who after a superb recovery drive takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship going into the summer break.
Better, stronger, faster. F1. Live text commentary from the Belgian Grand Prix on the BBC Sport website next weekend, with updates throughout the race on 5 Live.
I gave it everything, and I have nothing left at the end.
5 Live's Premier League Sunday
with Steve Crossman.
Already today, Manchester United have drawn 1-1 at Southampton, and Harry Kane returns for Tottenham as they beat Wolves 1-0 to make it 2 wins from 2. Now our focus turns to London, where it's Arsenal against Chelsea.
We have a lot of positive, a lot of energy, and find a way to beat Chelsea because we can, because we've done it.
I think they will try to put themselves into the underdog role and fight from there in this London derby.
Yeah, it's a London derby on Premier League Sunday.
Saka, left-hand side for Arsenal, gives it into Emile Smith-Rowe, and that's a brilliant goal.
Gallagher urged to shoot, does so. Oh, and what a goal!
Aubameyang on the run into the penalty area. Aubameyang shoots, Aubameyang scores.
Through the middle to Havertz, Ederson comes out, Havertz has beaten him, Havertz scores for Chelsea.
Here's Lacazette.
Oh my goodness, what a goal! What a goal that is by Lacazette.
Werner is in behind this time, back to Mount, what a goal! It's a brilliant finish, first time from Mason Mount.
Pepe calls it back predictably onto his left foot, hits it a beauty! Across the goalkeeper it is.
Werner, Stefan comes out, he centres it for Ziyech to score, and Chelsea take the lead.
Some big names there. Some you'll hear today and some you won't. With the team news at the Emirates, Conor McNamara.
Yeah, it's got a big game feel about it. Romelu Lukaku does make his debut second time round for Chelsea, the new signing for Inter Milan, yet to score a goal in a Chelsea shirt. He played 15 games in the original spell, never found the back of the net. The team news overall is that Arsenal make 3 changes from their defeat at Brentford on the opening day of the season. Saka, Holding and Suarez come in. The players who are out are Chambers, Balogun and White. Ben White, who is the latest Arsenal player who has tested positive for COVID, and he is out of the game today. So Brent Leno, the goalkeeper, Suarez, Holding, Mari and Tierney are the back 4. Albert Sambi Lokonga and Granit Xhaka in the middle of the midfield. Pepe and Saka on the wings, Emile Smith-Rowe in the number 10 position, and Gabriel Martinelli will lead the line. The Chelsea team shows 2 changes from the side that beat Crystal Palace 3-0 last weekend. Lukaku comes in for Christian Pulisic, and at right wing back, Reece James is back in the team in place of Trevor Chalobah. So the Chelsea team, Edouard Mendy in goal, Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger, 3 central defenders. Reece James and Marcus Alonso are the wing-backs. Jorginho and Kovacic in the centre of the park. Mount and Havertz either side of Lukaku.
So we have Conor McNamara with us from the Emirates. Karen Carney is still with us as well. Delighted to say alongside Conor for commentary, it's Clinton Morrison. Afternoon, Clinton.
Afternoon, mate.
How you doing? All good?
Yeah, I'm good. Not too bad. Very good.
You can't not get excited, just from a neutral's perspective, about seeing Romelu Lukaku back in the Premier League.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's an outstanding striker. I did think, I said it all along, I did think he'd come back to the Premier League one day, and he's learned. You know what? Credit to him, Crossy, because I see him do an interview the other day. When he was here before, he was still a young man. He went away, worked at his game, played under a really good manager, Kante, at Inter Milan, had 2 very, very good seasons there. And now I think he's ready, and that signing by Romelu Lukaku makes Chelsea title contenders without a shadow of a doubt. But he's a terrific striker, and Arsenal will find it difficult this afternoon against him.
It's funny, Karen, we've been talking so much about Harry Kane and, £100 million, 97.5 for Romelu Lukaku. Is it possible for someone to look a steal at that amount of money?
Well, first of all, all right, Clinton and Crossy and Connor, it's the dream team, right? Absolute dream team. Hi, guys. No, still, yeah. I mean, he's 28. I think Clinton summed it up well. I think he's grown up. And I think at 28, you kind of, your body's gone away and changed your diet. Physically, he's improved. Tactically, I think Conte's really... And he went to Italy, he had to learn a little bit more, improve his game intelligence. I think working with Roberto Martinez as well. So tactically, he's really had to improve. So sometimes when teams low block and defend against him, he can come against that. If you want to counter-attack, boy, that's at your peril as well, because he's ruthless. And we saw that at times when he peels out to the wide areas. And for Belgium, someone like Kevin De Bruyne just goes through the middle, and that's exactly what Chelsea say to him. You can stay in the middle and we'll work around you, or you can go out wide and we'll run. We have the runners and the number 10s to run through you. So, and look, he's prolific in front of goal, which is 7 goals last season, top goal scorer for Jorginho for Chelsea. If they want to win the Premier League, they need a goal scorer, and he's the final piece of the puzzle for me, and I can't wait to see him run out today.
There's this narrative, Connor, about, something to prove back in England, all this kind of thing. He scored 42 goals in 2 seasons at Manchester United.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. I was thinking about this a lot. I mean, is it that Lukaku was misfiring? Is it that he was in a team that wasn't getting the best out of him? I think you can make a similar argument with Paul Pogba, because we know at times Pogba can be absolutely world class, but is that team getting the best out of him? So for me, I think it's a really interesting one. His best spell in English football was at Everton. Roberto Martinez, I'm sure that's why Martinez ended up getting the Belgium job in the long run, was because the Belgians realised that Martinez knew how to get the best out of Lukaku. Obviously, when teams are playing against that Everton team, they will push on a little bit more. They will leave gaps, and for all that he's a big, tall striker, in my memory, Lukaku goals are not jumping for headers in the penalty area. They're running onto through balls, taking on the last defender and shooting into the net. And it's just whether this Chelsea team will have opponents who will create that space for Lukaku. I think Serie A is a different story altogether. I'm fascinated to see, because there's no doubt he's a better player now, certainly than he was at Chelsea first time round. Arguably, with those 80 goals in the last 2 seasons for club and country, he's a much better player than he was at Manchester United. Is he ready now to take that step up and become one of those great strikers of European football?
Even though, Clinton, objectively, he clearly has nothing to prove, if you were in his shoes, would you be focusing on that idea and almost making it true to give you something extra, some extra motivation?
If I was younger, Crossy, yeah, maybe, but Karen alluded to it earlier. He's grown up, so he don't have nothing to prove. He might, in himself, he will never come out and say it, but he might want to prove a few people wrong at Man United who didn't believe in him, because they used to criticise the way he held the ball up and stuff like that. He's gone away and worked on his game, and he's excellent. And I seen last week, right, Ivan Toney and Mbeumo cause Arsenal's backline all kinds of problems. Let me tell you something now. If you defend like you did last week against Romelu Lukaku, he will cause you all kinds of problems. He's one of the best strikers there is around at this precise moment. I'm telling you that without a shadow of a doubt. And these Chelsea players will love having him in the team. He'll be the focal point. But he's got nothing to prove whatsoever.
Do you know what, Clinton? I was at that game as well, the Arsenal game, and you're right. And Mbeumo and Toney. Mbeumo came on that left-hand side and really caused Mari some problems. That's Lukaku's territory. So they are going to have to be so switched on, because if he watched the game last week like anyone did, he's going, right, I'm going to stand in that area, I'm going to play on that side, and I'm going to have a field day. So it'll be really, really interesting to see how Arsenal cope with that as well.
They are going to have a horrible day. Like, you never know what's going to happen on a football football pitch, Clinton, but Pablo Mari and Rob Holding, they're not going to enjoy this, are they?
No, they're not. But no one's going to enjoy playing against Romelu Lukaku. They will enjoy it though, Crossy, because they're up against one of the best strikers there is at the moment. And if they keep him quiet, they've done their job. But one thing I will say, do not get tight to Romelu Lukaku. I don't care who you are. He's so strong, he will roll you. So they'll have to be at their P's and Q's there and defend properly. Don't get too tight, because he is a big problem.
And they're going to need support as well, Steve, because it's all well and good keeping your eye on Lukaku, but then you've got Kai Havertz, then you've got Mason Mount. I mean, they can't get distracted by the new Chelsea signing and ignore the other firepower that we know Chelsea have.
Karen, thank you very much. We'll speak to you soon, yeah?
Thank you. Enjoy the
Take
game,
care,
everybody.
Karen.
I'll listen on the way home.
Good stuff. Karen Carney there, who's at St Mary's to watch Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Conor McNamara, Clinton Morrison at the Emirates ahead of Arsenal Chelsea, just over 15 minutes to go until kick-off. Let's bring in a Chelsea fan. Anita has joined us on Premier League Sunday afternoon. Anita.
Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you? Your new signing is starting in a London derby.
Listen, I am amazing. Like, I feel so happy. I was actually quite worried, thinking that Tuchel might play it safe and not start him because he's just come into the side. But the fact that Tuchel has started him, I am absolutely over the moon. I'm predicting him to have a debut goal today. To be honest, that's me being nice. Initially, I predicted a debut hat-trick, but but let me just keep it nice and just keep it with one goal for Lukaku today. I'm really excited.
Listen, it's okay to get overexcited, Anita. This is what we're here for.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to keep it as Lukaku hat-trick today. Yeah? I'm going to keep it as that. Maybe to top it off with a Havertz goal at the end of it. Maybe a cheeky 4-0, 4-1. But no, honestly, to keep it very serious, I do think that this is probably one of the stadiums that Chelsea have struggled at in recent times. But with Lukaku coming in today, I just feel like he's going to be way too strong for Arsenal's defence at the moment. And it's just going to be quite comical to see how they will handle him today. I think I was just listening to you just now saying whoever does try to get tight to Lukaku, they will get rolled over. So I do not advise it. So it's just going to be very, very interesting to watch.
Clinton said that he expects this signing to put Chelsea up there as title contenders. Is that an expectation rather than a hope now because of his signing?
Yeah, 100%. I think the missing piece to our puzzle last season was to have that striker with that sort of, eye for goal, that killer instinct in front of goal. And we finally have that. For the fact that we have that now, it keeps us in the question of, can we win the title this season? And I expect to not only just challenge for the title, but to actually win the league this year. This should be our priority. We've got the Champions League in the bag, so let's bring the Premier League back home. And I wouldn't accept nothing less than a Premier League win this season. We are capable of doing it. We've got so much talent in our starting 11, in our entire squad, in fact. We've got so much talent in our squad. We've got the final piece to the puzzle. Some may argue that we still need a midfielder, but in my eyes, we have the final piece to the puzzle. So let's go get that trophy and bring it home.
Let's just nip back to Ross County because there's been another goal in the Scottish Premiership. Kenny Crawford.
Ross County 1, Rangers 3 now. Alfredo Morelos gets Rangers third, and his third of the season, teed up by Glenn Kamara. Low, squeezed low into the bottom right-hand corner. Ross County 1, Rangers 3.
Thank you very much, Kenny. Anita, then, before we let you go, we've got a full Emirates for the first time in 17 months. How much would it mean to you to silence that today?
Oh God, it will mean the world to me. Honestly, if I could be there right now, I'd be gritting my teeth. Just knowing that that Arsenal are back home at the Emirates and we have the opportunity to silence all of the fans across London, just to let them know that the champions of Europe have arrived. It will mean the world, and I do hope that our boys are capable of doing that today.
Crossy, that's why I love my job, because me and Connor are here watching it. And Anita, don't worry, I'll cheer on Chelsea for you while I'm here. Don't worry about it.
There's nothing like objectivity, eh, Clinton? Anita, very much enjoyed your energy. Thank you very much for coming on. Enjoy the game.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, Thomas Tuchel's also said that he thinks Arsenal will try and pitch themselves as underdogs. We can hear now from Kai Havertz, who says they shouldn't be underestimated.
Yeah, I think they're dangerous because, they have a lot of quality players. I mean, now everybody says about them, I don't know, they play not good, and everything is wrong with them, but we know of the quality of them, and we know they have very, very good players, and we just have to take care I think we also have a lot of quality. We can beat them, but we all have to be by 100% to do that. And I think we prepared very good this week. It's always a dream to play in the Premier League in front of the fans. I mean, last year, of course, it was a little bit disappointing without fans. I mean, it was still nice, but I think it's just another game with the fans. And I mean, I experienced them now the last few games, and it's just incredible to play in front of them, and I'm looking forward to it.
All seems to be going for Chelsea when it comes to the team news, Clinton. As far as Arsenal go, Aubameyang on the bench, still obviously not ready to start. They've got no Odegaard today, who was the big signing of the last few days.
Yeah, he's just come on the pitch, Crossy, and the crowd have gone mental. He's just doing an interview by the side of the pitch. So, yeah, he's not available, you're right. And Aubameyang, and probably, and Lacazette's still not available, is he? So, and Ben White. So there are a lot of key players that they haven't got ready at this precise moment. But the problem with Odegaard, right, and this is, I've spoke to a lot of people. You see, if Arsenal wanted Odegaard, why did they not get him at the start of the start of the window? I just don't get it at the start of the season. Why didn't Odegaard commit? He went back to Real Madrid, and I basically think Real Madrid said, we don't want you, and then Arsenal have gone and signed him. The only thing I worry about is I hope he doesn't take Smith Rowe's place, because I think Smith Rowe is an outstanding player. I do like him in that number 10 that he plays in. I know he can play from the left, so I just hope in the long run Smith Rowe keeps that position, because for me, he's a better footballer than Odegaard.
I mean, he was basically their only positive at Brentford, right?
Yes, definitely. Him and Kieran Tierney. I thought Kieran Tierney was good, but Kieran Tierney's always good. But Smith Rowe was excellent. He was the only one who went, Crossy, to go and get on the ball, try to make things happen. And he's one of the youngest in the team. It shouldn't all be relying on his young shoulders. So for me, them two were the only positives. But in particular, Smith Rowe, I thought he was outstanding.
The question is going to be, Clinton, how long the Arsenal fans stay behind Arsenal if this game doesn't go the way they want. Because if Arsenal had fans in last season, we would have known how upset they were with what they were seeing for the majority of the campaign. Yeah,
you're 100% correct there, Crossy. And you know what? Arteta will be under pressure. It's only towards the end of the season they won 4 or 5 games, and it kind of took the pressure on them, and they had a good finish to the end of the season. But they're under pressure. That result last week against Brentford, it's not so much losing against Brentford, but they shouldn't be losing. But it's the performance they put in. There wasn't any energy, or it's the first game of the season. I'm not saying their players weren't up for it, but Brentford were up for it more. And I know they were at home and the crowd were behind them, but this is Arsenal Football Club. They're one of the biggest clubs in the world, and that's not being disrespectful to Brentford. They should have turned up. They didn't. This is a different game now. It's a London derby, so they got to be up for it. They're in front of their home fans. But you're right, mate. If they don't do well, I can see Arteta being under pressure, and also these players.
I spoke to Pablo Mari the other day, Connor, and he basically said that, you know, we're a work in progress, we're building on this, we're trying to rediscover ourselves, etc., etc. I just wonder, after 18 months of the Arteta reign, how much patience there is realistically going to be.
You know, last season Arsenal played very poorly up until Christmas, and that coincided with a period where the fans weren't in. Then in the second half of the season, they started playing much, much better, but again, the fans weren't in to see it. And I wonder how much of the lingering memory of the bad times are going to be for Arsenal if they were to lose today and start this season with back-to-back defeats. This is the first time since the mid-90s that the club have not any form of European football to play for this season. They finished 8th last time around. They should be able to concentrate in the league. No one's saying they're going to go win the title, but they should be trying to get back into the top 4 with the pedigree of this club, the stadium, the ethos, the big-name players that they do have. And yet, if they were to start a second defeat back-to-back, the fact that it's their local rivals, Chelsea, who might beat them today, I think it'll be really interesting to see how the Arsenal fans react to Mikel Arteta, because let's not forget, he's a former player. He hasn't really had time to bask in that honeymoon period of being in the... He's had very few games here in front of a full crowd of Arsenal fans. And of course, as a former player, they would give him a bit of leeway and they would let it, a bit of slack go. But that period has passed now, and I think there will be serious disgruntlement if Arsenal were to be taken apart. And given the absentees today, there is every possibility that might happen.
I guess one positive for Arsenal, Clinton, is that the signing of Odegaard shows you beyond any doubt that the team are with Arteta. Because he probably could have gone to about 5 or 6 clubs. He's made the choice. This is where he wanted to be.
Yeah, he probably enjoyed his time here last season. So yeah, the team are with him, but we can all say that, Crossy. First and foremost, they have to get the results on the pitch. That shows if they are with them. They can be off them, but they have to show enough quality on the pitch. And if you don't get the results, evidently it lies with the manager, Arteta, and he's the one who becomes under pressure, scrutiny, everyone looks at him. So he has to pick the right and you have to realise, Crossy, they've spent a lot of money in this window at the moment. I think they've spent the most money at this precise moment. So they need to start getting results. Arsenal shouldn't be, I know it's only one game. You can't judge the table after 15, 16 games. But at the moment they need, and obviously the result last week didn't help on the back of not having a good season last season, as Connor said, not being in Europe. This is Arsenal Football Club. They should be in Europe. So it's like a little building blocks, but you are right. It does seem the players are with them, but they need to start producing on the football pitch.
I think that's the problem for them, isn't it? Is that everything that you've just said makes this an absolutely massive game for so many reasons. But just look at the team sheet. Arsenal are miles behind Chelsea, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they are miles behind Chelsea, without a shadow of doubt. And you know what? They're miles behind them, but have you seen the money that they've spent as well? I know Chelsea went and bought Romelu Lukaku for nearly 100 million, and what a signing that is. And Arsenal would probably love to have a player like that in their ranks at the moment, but they are miles behind. For squads, if you look at the top four, who I think will be there, Man United, Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea, the squads are way better and in depth than Arsenal. So it's a rebuilding programme for them, but they need to start winning football matches because the fans won't accept it.
I think let's not forget as well, last season Arsenal did the league double over Chelsea. You know, before we start completely writing them out, in a funny way, this could be the kind of game that Arsenal do raise their game. I think a frustration for Arsenal fans, it's the Brentford matches that they lose too much of. Games like this, traditionally cup finals, stuff like that, Arsenal tend to produce their best stuff. They are going to need their best stuff today to take something from this one.
But Crossy, you've never asked me my score prediction, so I'm leaving it there. I think Arsenal have a chance after that speech from Connor.
Fine, what's your score prediction?
2-1 Chelsea.
Okay. So full commentary coming your way from the Emirates. It sounds absolutely fantastic. We'll get reaction at half-time from Ralph Hasenhüttl and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after Southampton won, Manchester United won. Let's check back in at the Women's Open at Carnoustie. Ian Carter.
Fascinatingly poised, the Australian Minjee Lee with a birdie at the 16th now leads with 2 holes to play at 11 under par, but the chasing pack is getting ever stronger, and Anna Nordqvist knocks in a birdie at the 8th to go into a share of the lead at 11 under par. Georgia Hall's back in it. She birdied the 11th. She has chipped in for eagle at the 12th and parred the 13th. The British player at 10 under par alongside Lizette Salas and Nana Kurtz Madsen. As for Louise Duncan, first drop shot of the day has come at the 9th when she pulled a drive to the left. She's gone to the turn in level par at 7 under. She's now 4 shots behind.
Commentary right now on 5 Live Sports Extra. Well, Arsenal fans might not have liked everything that they haven't seen behind closed doors over the last 18 months, but you can bet they will give their full roar in a couple of moments' time, because the teams are lining up in the tunnel. Our second commentary of this Premier League Sunday, Arsenal versus Chelsea, a London derby at the Emirates, and Clinton Morrison is alongside Conor McNamara.
This is what we have missed. Full house at the Emirates Stadium. Sun blazing down on the pitch. Supporters to the far side from us with their hands on their foreheads so they can get a glimpse of Cesar Azpilicueta leading out his Chelsea team, the Champions League winning captain. And the boos. We didn't get boos like that with the fake crowd noise last season. This is authentic London derby boos.
Yeah, it is. It's brilliant though, isn't it, Connor? We worked a lot last season without the fans and we did miss it. The only good thing is it was easy to get into the ground. But look at this. Hear this reception here. This is what it's about, having the fans back and a big London derby.
After the boos come the roars. And Arsenal Football Club have certainly put their supporters through the ringer in recent seasons. But early in a new campaign, there is always optimism. There is always a belief that this football club, who at times, over the course of their long, proud history, have produced sparkling football. In the Premier League era under Arsene Wenger, they were real entertainers. Can Arsenal get back to that high perch? Can they start today against a Chelsea team who have been boosted by the arrival of Romelu Lukaku, the new signing for just shy of £100 million from Inter Milan? He goes straight into the team today. all his experience, all the goals he's scored, there is still an expectancy, and I wonder what is going through the mind of Lukaku. He looks very calm, Clinton.
He does look calm, Lukaku. He looks focused as well. That's the one big thing, and I've seen the change over him in many years. He's just focused. He knows what he wants to do. He just wants to score goals and have an impact, and obviously this is a big debut for him against Arsenal.
Illness and COVID have conspired against Arsenal. We welcome listeners tuning our way right around the world on BBC's World Service to the Emirates in North London. We have Arsenal against Chelsea about to begin here on BBC Radio Sport. Arsenal's whose latest positive COVID test has been for defender Ben White, £50 million, made his debut against Brentford last week and misses out today, having tested positive for COVID. So Bernd Leno is the goalkeeper. Cedric Soares comes in at right back, the Portuguese player. Rob Holding will partner Pablo Mari in the middle. Kieran Tierney on the left of what looks a flat back four to start with, though they did adapt that as the game went on at Brentford just over a week ago. In midfield, Albert Sambi Lokonga, the Belgian, the summer signing from Anderlecht, is alongside Granit Xhaka, with Emile Smith-Rowe pushing on in the number 10 position, Nicolas Pepe on the right, Bukayo Saka on the left, and Gabriel Martinelli, no longer a teenager, turned 20 in June. He leads the line up front. There are two changes for Chelsea from their opening win of this Premier League season against Crystal Palace. Lukaku has replaced Pulisic, and Reece James comes in for Chalobah, who scored against Palace last week. So the team, Edouard Mendy, the goalkeeper, three central defenders, Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger. The wing-backs, James and Alonso. Jorginho alongside Kovacic in the middle, and then Havertz and Mount in support of Lukaku up front. The Chelsea bench has to be mentioned before kick-off. I wonder, could this be the strongest bench we've ever had for a Premier League game? Chilwell, Werner, Kante, Hudson-Odoi, Thiago Silva, Ziyech, Zouma. I mean, it's ridiculous, that
and
bench.
then they're missing Pulisic as well. Exactly, so they've got a hell of a squad, to be fair, Connor.
We're about to get started. 5 Live for the BBC and the World Service. Arsenal in their traditional red shirts, the white sleeves, white shorts and red and white striped socks as the players take a knee ahead of kick-off. The continuing message is that there is no room for racism, and that gesture has been widely applauded around the Emirates here ahead of kick-off. Chelsea all in blue, playing from right to left as we start. Lokonga launches it towards Tierney, who made a run up from the left-hand side, but it's cushioned back by Azpilicueta to Edouard Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper. The pitch looks immaculate. There has been some rain ahead of kickoff, but glorious sunshine right now. Martinelli tries to attack for the first time. Andreas Christensen bravely stoops in his forehead, heads the ball away. Arsenal regain it inside their own half. Rob Holding turns and rolls it back to Bernd Leno. Ahead of kickoff, Aaron Ramsdale was presented to the Arsenal fans, new signing from Bournemouth, and he has gone straight onto the bench today, the English goalkeeper. Suarez in possession, right hand side for Arsenal. Lokonga's put under pressure by Mason Mount. Mount, who had such a busy summer with England at the Euro, started 5 of the 7 games that England played in that competition. Lokonga does well in the midfield and gets a roar from the Arsenal fans. Here's Granit Xhaka, left-footed, plenty of backspin as he plays it forward to Saka on the edge of the penalty area, and a shot comes in from Smith-Rowe. It was on target and it's saved by Edouard Mendy. It's a good start, this, from Arsenal.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want a good start. It gets the fans going. It's a good ball from Xhaka to Saka. Saka does well. He gets in front Christensen. There's a good chance for Smith-Rowe. He struck it, but comfortable save from Mendy. But very positive start from Arsenal.
Great atmosphere for this London derby. 0-0 in the early stages on 5 Live. Mount has the ball for Chelsea, halfway line, far side of the pitch from us. Right as Chelsea come forward. Boost from Mount. Jorginho will roll the ball back behind to Christensen. And now Rudiger, whose Chelsea debut was against Arsenal 4 years ago. Now Azpilicueta to the right hand side and to Reece James. Chelsea finding it hard to break into the Arsenal half of the home team, get possession back again. Smith-Rowe, though, loses out to Jorginho. Good play. Now, Kai Havertz for the first time in the game. Spins away from the centre circle and rolls it low to the left wing to Marcus Alonso. Lukaku's waiting at the back post. Here is Reece James. Chance to shoot. Good defending. I think it was Pablo Mari. It hit him on the head. He went down. The ball goes out for a throw-in. Reece James with a shot that was destined for the top corner before the brave block.
Yeah, I think it might be Xhaka. Xhaka's gone down. It's Xhaka, yeah. I think Xhaka, Reece James has the shot and Xhaka takes it full in the face. But yeah, you have to be brave, and it was a really good block. It's good play from Chelsea by Alonso on the left-hand side to Reece James, but Xhaka's done ever so well. But he has caught that straight in the face, and he looks in a bit of trouble at the moment.
Yeah, he is flat on his back, Granit Xhaka. We're going to have a little bit of a delay here. Interesting position that Reece James took up to have that attempt of a shot. I mean, we speak about Pep Guardiola, how João Cancelo moves from a wing-back or a full-back into a midfield position. That's very much what Reece James did there. He only scored one Premier League goal last season. It's a good attempt, bravely blocked by Granit Xhaka, who is still lying down on the ground. If this was a cartoon, he'd have little Tweety birds dancing above his head. But with any head injuries these days, there will be extra caution given to him as the Arsenal fans wait to see if Granit Xhaka is going to be okay to continue here. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. 3 o'clock kickoff in the Scottish Premier League. Ross County against Rangers. Kenny Crawford's watching.
This game far from over, Connor, because it's Ross County 2, Rangers 3, and Jordan White has scored from the penalty spot after Calvin Bassey handball Blair Spittle strike. Ross County 2, Rangers 3.
Pleased to report that Granit Xhaka's back up on his feet. Looks like he will be okay to continue. Earlier on today, Southampton 1, Manchester United 1. Adams had given Southampton the lead. Greenwood equalised for Manchester United, and a Dele Alli penalty saw Tottenham win at Wolves. Winning return for Nuno Espirito Santo to Molineux, a game in which Harry Kane did come on to play for Tottenham in. How significant is that, we wonder? Here at the Emirates, 0-0, 5 live from the BBC. Arsenal against Chelsea. Here is Azpilicueta rolling it on to Jorginho. He'll prod it out towards Reece James on the right hand side in the sunshine. Back into the middle, Mason Mount, who's been full of running in the early stages, and now the Croatian Kovacic brings Rudiger forward on the right hand side. Lukaku, I'm not sure if he's had a touch in the game yet. He's inside the Arsenal penalty area. Mary's trying to man mark him, and Chelsea have been patient about picking their moment to try and bring the Belgian into the game. Early stages here, 4.5 minutes played. Clinton Morrison.
Connor, you can see there when Arsenal don't have the ball, look how deep they are. Even Martinelli is up front, they just get into their shape.
Here is Lukaku, back to goal on the edge of the D, lays it off to Kai Havertz, tries to shoot, comes off the shins of Rob Holding, and ricochets out for a throw into Chelsea on the left hand side, 0-0.
And that's what they can do now with Romelu Lukaku up there, Connor. They've got a focal point who can hold it. That's not Timo Werner's game, and it's stuck there, but it was good defending in the end.
The closing stages of the other games in Scotland. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1, and St Johnstone 0, Dundee United 1. Those games have all got around about quarter of an hour to play. Emile Smith-Rowe is fouled on the halfway line, and Arsenal fans all around us are up on their feet and venting anger. And the fourth official down there is waving his hands in a circle. David Coote to say he got the ball. Was that no further action other than the free kick needed to be taken.
Connor, we've missed the fans, haven't we? We've missed this, haven't we? We have missed this. It's a great atmosphere, but he started really well, Smith-Rowe. He looked sharp. Alonso did catch him there, and the fans were right to go mad at Alonso, but he is a sharp player, Smith-Rowe.
I'll remind you of that about half an hour after this game, when you're getting into your car and you're trying to drive out of North London, and you mightn't be so pleased.
Exactly, I'm not so pleased getting here, but yeah, it's brilliant to have them here. It's when you're leaving and trying to get here, Connor.
Yeah, it was during the lockdown period. I mean, it was very difficult to commentate games. It was soulless. The one great thing was we were allowed park in the bowels of the Emirates, and it was like leaving the Batcave out on the streets. You're away home before you knew it.
Exactly,
because there was no crowd. But that was the only advantage.
Exactly, I agree with you there.
6 minutes played. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. I think Mikel Arteta can only be pleased with the start here. No doubt Chelsea are growing into the game. They're having more possession. They're beginning to get Lukaku into it. But, as you said, Clinton, Arsenal are giving their fans something to get behind. The hunger is there from Arsenal.
And that's what you got to do. You had a bad result last week. It's how you respond now. That game against Brentford's gone. You're playing against one of the title contenders in Chelsea. Is how you start. And they've started on the front foot, Arsenal, and the fans are backing them.
Mount brave to get to the ball ahead of Xhaka, but Holding intercepts for Arsenal, puts it out of play on the far side. That will be a throw into Chelsea. No hanging about from Reece James. Throws it back to Cesar Azpilicueta. 26th time that Azpilicueta has played against Arsenal in his career. That's more than any other opponent he has gone for some serious battles with them over the years, plenty of big finals as well. Now, bit of room for Mason Mount on the right-hand side, and he rolls it in front of Reece James, edge of the penalty area, sends in a cross which was missed by Pablo Mari. Alonso had made a great run from left wing-back, but I think he slipped just as he tried to lunge for the ball. He didn't get a clean connection. Arsenal haven't fully cleared, and Chelsea still have possession inside their opponent's half. Kovacic on the ball. Chelsea playing from right to left as we look down. Gives it out to Reece James in these bright, luminous yellow boots. Into Jorginho with his dyed blonde hair. Now Kovacic, who had a busy summer of the Euros, playing every game for Croatia. Alonso hugging the near touchline, feeds it back into Kovacic. Much better now for Chelsea. They're settling into the game, holding the ball inside their opponent's half. Ball over the top from Jorginho, looking for Lukaku, overstruck, and it goes out for a goal kick. 0-0.
Yeah, he's not had many touches, Lukaku, but you can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to pull onto both centre halves, and he wants to interfere or slid down the sides. But Chelsea are going to dominate possession. Arsenal have to keep their shape, and I think with the pace they've got up front, Pepe, Martinelli and Saka, they can cause Chelsea problems.
Arsenal finished 6 points off fourth place Chelsea last season. They've not been the top London club in the Premier League for 5 years now. You've got to go back to the 2015-16 season when Arsenal finished second in the end that year. But so often on these London derbies, and when they look at the Premier League table, Arsenal fans have had to grimace a little bit of their local rivals doing better than them. Can this year be better? Tierney comes in the attack down the left-hand side. Tierney and Saka just brimming with potential if Arteta can get the best out of them. Tierney's cross here, cleared away by Alonso, and out for a throw into Arsenal, who remain on the attack.
You're right, Connor. Everything's happening for Arsenal down that left-hand side, and you know what Tierney's like. He loves getting forward. I think the combination play between him and Saka has been really positive so far. Tierney
and Saka, Arsenal's future, if they can get the best out of them. Suarez on the halfway line on the right-hand side. Into Lokonga, still settling into line for the Emirates. It's a great ball to Tierney. First time back into the middle. So cleverly left by Christensen. It seemed fraught with danger, but he knew what he was doing. He knew that Alonso was behind him. Alonso does put it out for a corner. But how brave there for Christensen to just sell a dummy, allow the ball flash across his own goal, and made sure that Arsenal couldn't capitalise.
Yeah, it's brilliant defending from Christensen, but Lokonga's pass was unbelievable there, Connor, to Tierney, and his touch and cross was even better. But brilliant start from Arsenal, but good defending from Christensen there.
Yeah, early signs of Albert Sambi Lokonga are very good. He's playing with confidence. Now, Nicolas Pepe will take the corner on the right-hand side. Chelsea have brought everyone back into the penalty area to defend it. It is lofted high towards the back post. Smith Rowe had a free header, but there was an Arsenal player with his hands wrapped around opponents, and that will be a free kick to Chelsea away to our right-hand side. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 0. Back to Ross County Rangers and Kenny Crawford.
Thanks, Connor. Yeah, you'd think Rangers have this wrapped up now. Less than 10 minutes to go. It's now Ross County 2, Rangers 4. Scott Arfield just on as a sub, and there to tap in after Ross Laidlaw could only palm out Alfredo Morelos' low cross. Ross County 2, Rangers 4.
Thanks very much, Kenny. So 6 goals in that game. Celtic scored 6 goals yesterday, and the Old Firm derby is on next Sunday, a game you can hear live here on 5 Live. No goals, 10 minutes played in North London, and a proper derby atmosphere around this one. The crowd has been loud and raucous. Both teams have been full of attacking intent as Jorginho plays it forward again towards Lukaku, and Pablo Mari has done well to nip in ahead. And I'm sure all week of the preparations, Arsenal thought that Ben White would have been the player to deal with Lukaku. A late change with White having contracted COVID means it's Mari and holding. This is good play by Pepe, launching himself down the right wing. Real energy. Now he's got Lokonga with him. Plays another of these balls out to the left wing. Saka nods it down for Emile Smith-Rowe, who's become a real favourite of the Arsenal fans. Saka's got a bit of room here. Low cross, disappointing cross, straight at Andreas Christensen. He had 3 to aim for there. Not the best delivery from Bukayo Saka.
You know what frustrates me about Pepe? He's got the ability. He has 3 men around him there, Connor. And these Arsenal fans get up. They want to see him taking people on. He's got to believe in himself more. That was great play from Pepe.
Maybe something that's true of Arsenal as a whole. Can they believe in themselves a little bit more? 0-0 on 5 Live in the World Service. Thomas Tuchel comes out in very tight-fitting tracksuit bottoms, and he's got a athletic grey top on and a black baseball cap as Suarez loops one high rather aimlessly towards the Chelsea penalty area, and it bounces up neatly into Edouard Mendy's hand.
Them tracksuit bottoms are short, Connor. If you came in there and was working with me today, I'd have said, Connor, you need to get changed.
I mean, presumably this is what all the kids wear these days.
No, they don't. They got to be fitted. They are fitted, but they got to be touching your trainers. They're a bit too high.
He doesn't have a pick on him, does he, Thomas Tuchel? He's like a greyhound. He's just skin and bone down there. Mikel Arteta's always very suave. He's continental looking in his fancy looking shoes and his black sweater. 0-0 with Kovacic on the ball just outside the D of the Chelsea penalty area, away to our right hand side. Rudiger back into Kovacic, who was sent off against Arsenal in the FA Cup final defeat. That was this month last year, back end of 2 seasons ago. Of course, that delayed finish, the project restart. In the future, it's going to be so confusing when we talk about, such and such scored at Euro 2020, but it was in 2021 and all these kind of things. That's good play though. Tierney winning the ball back for Arsenal. It was Jack actually. And now Pepe inside the centre circle. Brave challenge by Alonso. He took a kick on the back of the calf, but he bravely got in ahead of Pepe, and Pepe is adjudged to have fouled him. Free kick to Chelsea inside the centre circle. Arteta is very animated down there. He's trying to get some instruction onto his team.
But his team have started well. You can see we were talking about it earlier. They definitely are playing for the manager, Connor, without a shadow of doubt. They've been in Chelsea's faces, and when they don't have the ball, they sit back, let them have possession, and then they go and press. So at the moment, it's working well for Arsenal, and Chelsea dominating without creating any clear-cut chances.
0-0. Lukaku has had 2 touches, I think, of the ball so far. As the ball is cleared away by Arsenal down into the Chelsea half. Christensen short to Jorginho, and then over to the right hand side into Azpilicueta, 15 yards inside the Chelsea half. He plays it over the halfway line to Kai Havertz, who by his standards has been rather quiet in the opening stages here. Good tackle by Tierney on the far side. Ball goes out for a Chelsea throw. Chelsea, who finished 4th last year, 4th the year before, 3rd the year before that. Is this the year that they can push on and maybe win the Premier League title? And why not? As champions of Europe, they have every right to expect that they will challenge. Here is Lukaku, held up again by Pablo Mari. Lays it off to Kovacic. Great ball to pick out Reece James inside the penalty area. Back into the middle. Lukaku will score. He's hardly had 3 touches in the game. He puts his fingers to his lips. He wants to silence the Arsenal fans. It is a goal-scoring return to the Premier League for Romelu Lukaku. It's his first ever goal in a Chelsea shirt. He didn't score for them in his first period of the club. What a way to start paying back the hefty transfer fee. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1. The goal from Romelu Lukaku.
He starts it as well, Connor. Kovacic plays a good ball into his feet. He pins Mari and says, "You're not getting around me," to be fair. And he lays it to Kovacic. He plays a great ball to Reece James, and Reece James flashes it across the box, and that's where Romelu Lukaku, he doesn't admire it, taps it in with his right foot. There was a suspicion that he might be offside, but it's an advantage with the striker. His hand might have been offside, so they've got the decision right. And Romelu Lukaku, that's what he does. He scores goals.
Yeah, the new interpretations of the law, they're not going to get into the fingernails and the armpit squeezes this time round.
Oh, that's much better, Connor.
Get on with it. Goal for Chelsea. Lukaku has scored it. That is what he would have wanted. 80 goals, 8-0 for club and country in the last 2 seasons. He's up and running for Chelsea this term. And Arsenal, for all their promising start, find themselves behind at home in this London derby. Kovacic rolls it back to Rudiger. First proper shot on target towards Bernd Leno. And as you said, Clinton, Lukaku started that, held it up, laid it back to Kovacic, didn't just sit and admire his pass, got into the 6-yard box and was there to finish it off with a goal.
And that's why I like Reece James at right wing back, Connor, because every opportunity he'll deliver balls into the box.
According to the Opta stats, it is 3 touches of the ball that Lukaku has had in the game so far. 3 touches, 1 goal.
He'll take that all day long.
He will absolutely take that. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1. Earlier on, Southampton and Manchester United drew. Tottenham won away at Wolves. You can watch all the action tonight. Match of the Day 2 with Mark Chapman, Alan Shearer and Ian Wright tonight. BBC 1 at 10:30. What do Arsenal do now? They had chances, maybe a little bit wasteful, some of those crosses from the left-hand side that didn't pick out Martinelli in the middle. Aubameyang, who is on the bench today, having recovered from COVID, returned to training only yesterday. The Brazilian Martinelli leading the line for now. And Arsenal yet to pick him out. Possession for the home side. Pablo Mari to Bukayo Saka, 10 yards inside the Chelsea half. Lays it off to Granit Xhaka of the Blue Boots. A crossfield ball to the near touchline looking for Pepe. It is intercepted by the Spaniard Marcos Alonso. His header though straight to Alexandre Lacazette, and Arsenal regain possession immediately. He's neat and tidy, Lacazette, like the look of him. Here is Suarez and Pepe, right wing for Arsenal. Under pressure from Alonso, he turns and rolls it back into his own half. Where Holding sends it to the far side, Arsenal's left, and Pablo Mari. Chelsea are up for it now, they're chasing everything, they're pressing high, and they force Tierney to just hoof it downfield, and that is harmless from the Chelsea point of view. He's just returning the ball to Edward Mendy. Chelsea have gripped control of the game.
Yeah, they have, to be fair. It's so difficult because as Arsenal, they got to stay in the game. They were creating a few half chances, but that's the difference. That is why you pay all that money for a centre forward who, as you said, had 3 touches and he scores, and he was clinical.
Mason Mount, who was Chelsea's player of the year last season. And they've got to get a corner here. Oh no, Reece James has kept it in play by the byline on the right hand side. A real hunger to Chelsea. They want to keep it moving, keep the ball in play. James gets it back again and does a little trick and a 1-2. That's nicely done to the byline right hand side. The cross is too close to Leno. The Arsenal goalkeeper makes the save. Clinton Morrison.
Yeah, then you can see the fans are frustrated. They want Leno to get on with it and give it to Pepe, but he's got to make a better angle to say he wants it and demand it. But Chelsea have been rampant since that goal, and Arsenal have to respond.
Smith Rowe picks out Saka, back into Smith Rowe again, just outside the Chelsea penalty area. Plenty blue shirts back for the visitors there. Oh, the Arsenal fans go nuts there because 10 yards outside the penalty area, Xhaka turns and plays it back towards the halfway line, and they want him to go forward.
I get that, but sometimes if nothing's on, then Connor, and he forces it, they're going to moan about that. So sometimes you have to. I know this is the thing when fans come in, they see it all, but it's so difficult sometimes when you're out there. You don't want to force that pass. So I can understand the fans getting frustrated, but Xhaka is just trying to keep the ball. If there's nothing on, keep the ball. But then in the end, they give it back to Chelsea anyway.
Full house here for the first time in a year and a half. I mean, for some of these Arsenal fans, they go through such agony in supporting their team. They vent such anger. With the exasperation, there's a chap in front of us, so you can see the veins throbbing on the side of his skull when Xhaka sent that pass backwards, and yet there's always the hope. They're only 1-0 down. They believe.
We're going to hear him. We're going to hear him all day, Connor. We definitely are.
Arsenal 0. Chelsea 1. It had to be Lukaku. Here come Chelsea again. Mount, very important interception by Holding. Mount was trying to play it into Kai Havertz, who would have had the freedom of the Emirates to run in on Bernd Leno, but the defensive gesture from Holding puts it out for a corner to Chelsea. If Arteta's team go 2-0 down before half-time, this could turn a little bit volatile inside the Emirates. The sun has just gone in behind a cloud, and that feels a little bit symbolic. Arsenal fans, such positivity ahead of kick-off, have now got much more quiet. Arteta sent the subs to warm up, including Aubameyang, who of course, he's got a long history with Thomas Tuchel, the Chelsea manager. He played under him and scored a lot of goals for Dortmund. Corners played in by Alonso. Leno comes and punches only as far as Jorginho on the edge of the penalty area. Mount will send it back out to the right hand side where Alonso had taken the corner. He sends in a high cross. No one marking James at the far post. Cushions it down for Kovacic. Back to James. His cross deflected by Pepe. Lukaku's header, and it's over the top from 8 yards out. Chelsea dominating the game with 20 minutes play.
They are. I don't understand how a ball comes in and Reece James is free on the back post, but good play between James and Kovacic, and just the deflection takes the whip off the cross, and Lukaku's got to generate the pace and heads over. But Chelsea, Arsenal to stay in the game. That goal was really kicked them in the teeth, but have to stay in the game and try to not let Chelsea, because as you said, Con, if they go 2-0 out, this place will go toxic.
Possession 65-35 in Chelsea's favour. Lukaku's goal separating the teams. Good work from Pepe to get away from Jorginho. Rolls it in front of Saka. Now he's got Azpilicueta between him and the penalty area. Saka shows too much of it to Azpilicueta. The Spaniard used all his experience there. He didn't lunge in. He waited for the heavy touch from Saka, and then he pounced, and that was very good defending. Tierney tries to resuscitate the attack, but his cross is deflected by Reece James, and Chelsea are defending very well in the early quarter of this game.
The ball going to Saka there, and you're thinking, Connor, he wasn't positive enough, even though it was good defending by Azpilicueta, but he can beat Azpilicueta for pace there, and he didn't really move the ball, but you got to credit Azpilicueta. It's really good defending, but it's a great opportunity there for Arsenal.
And we spoke about Lukaku having his 3 touches when he scored. I think his third touch was the one that put it into the back of the net. Martinelli's had 2 touches in the game, both have been around the halfway line, which says a lot about how Arsenal are trying to get their front man into the game. Alonso has it near the halfway line. Chelsea leading 1-0, 5 live in the World Service. This is the Premier League on the BBC, this 4:30 kickoff Sunday afternoon in the capital. Kovacic back to Rudiger, midway inside his own half. The German international sends it forward. Holding jumps in ahead of Lukaku. Warm applause from the Arsenal fans for that. Rudiger, under pressure from Martinelli, will turn and roll the ball back to his goalkeeper, Mendy. Right, final round at Carnoustie of the Women's Open Golf. Let's join correspondent Ian Carter.
Britain's Georgia Hall on the charge. She's had 2 birdies and an eagle in the last 5 holes. She's got 3 holes to go at Carnoustie, and at 11 under par, just 1 shot off the lead. That's held by Sweden's Anna Nordqvist. As for the Scottish amateur Louise Duncan, not out of it. Back-to-back birdies at 10 and 11. At 9 under, just 3 behind.
And there's coverage of that right now in Sports Extra. Highlights on BBC 2 this evening at 11 o'clock. BBC 2 with Ailey Barber. Corner to Chelsea here. Before that, full-time at Ross County, Kenny Crawford.
Full-time score, Connor. Ross County 2, Rangers 4. Maybe not as convincing as Stephen Gerrard would have liked, but they got there in the end. Goals from Joe Aribo, Connor Goldson, Alfredo Morelos and Scott Arfield. Rangers just a point off the top of the Premiership. It's Ross County 2, Rangers 4.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Chelsea take the corner short. No one marking Christensen. 20 yards outside the Arsenal penalty area. Gives it to Jorginho on the right hand side. Back into Christensen. All his outfield teammates are in front of him. And Kovacic to the left hand side. He'll float one into the box. Alonso stretches in the penalty area. Does get a touch, but not a clean touch. And that goes out for a goal kick to Arsenal. Marcus Alonso, who over the last 5 years has been the top scoring defender in the Premier League, likes a late arrival of the back post for a header. Couldn't quite nudge that one back into the centre. Teta pushes both hands downward motion to suggest calm down, he wants his team to do. Difficult though in these circumstances, trailing the European champions by 1-0. Bernd Leno wearing all yellow, away to our left, takes his time and then kicks the ball from the edge of the 6-yard box up over the halfway line, where Alonso, using that aerial ability, easily beats Pepe in the air. Ball comes back to Pepe, hits him with a shin pad and goes out for a throw-in to Chelsea.
Just before that corner that Chelsea had, they had a great opportunity, Connor, with Reece James. He cut it back to Mason Mount, but it could have been the same as the first goal, where if he had squared it, Lukaku was in the middle of the box with a simple tap-in.
Some delay here as Kai Havertz is slow to release the ball back to Cedric Suarez. It is a throw into Arsenal, right in front of Mikel Arteta. Arsenal from left to right as we looked out. Arsenal fans trying to urge their team to better endeavours. They have yet to test Edouard Mendy. He's not had a worrying moment of the match so far. Pepe goes in firmly on Kovacic, who's made of teak, and the ball goes out, and the last touch came off the Arsenal player, and it will be a Chelsea goal. 1-on-1 with Kovacic, you better go in with both barrels, because he's solid.
He definitely will. He will tackle. So Pepe has to protect himself for sure.
Alonso takes the throw back to Rudiger. Good pressure by Martinelli. Rudiger just about smuggles it back to Christensen. Now Martinelli runs into the goalkeeper, Mendy. Oh, risky. Passed it to Christensen, got away with it. Martinelli was a whisker away from intercepting inside the penalty area. Arsenal clear, looking for Lukaku. Intercepted by Holding, and Havertz allows the ball trickle out of play, knowing it will be a Chelsea throw on the left-hand side. I think Arteta wants his defence to sit up a little bit more here. Alonso to take the throw-in. Lukaku's goal on his debut, second time round. He only ever made 1 Premier League appearance as a youngster for Chelsea. Remember, it was back in the Jose Mourinho days. He played in a Super Cup at the start of the season. He missed a penalty in that shootout, and Mourinho says, "I'm done with you," and that was it. And he was sent out to Everton, and he never came back to Chelsea until now. They've had to pay a fortune for him second time round. And with all the transfers now, Lukaku, I believe, is the player who the most transfer fees in world football have ever been spent on. He's overtaken Neymar, if you think of the money Chelsea played from Anderlecht for him, and what Everton paid for him, what Manchester United paid for him, what Inter paid for him, and now Chelsea again. It's more money than any individual footballer in history.
That's what centre forwards, they do get the big moves, they score the goals, don't they, Connor?
It's Clinton Morrison of the centre forwards union with us on 5 Live. Yeah, Lukaku's agent will have done well for himself. Here he is, inside the penalty area. One touch to get it away from his body. Good defending, Pablo Mari. He was right up close to Lukaku, who tried to shift it into some space, and Mari was able to glide along with him. But Lukaku is looking sharp. He looks fit. He looks hungry. He's already on the score sheet. As a cross from the right-hand side comes in, and Mari gets there ahead of Lukaku again and clears it away. But Arsenal are not retaining possession. When they win it back, they clear it away, and more often than not, they give it to a Chelsea man.
You know, the problem is, Conor, it's the goal. It's not the stuffing out of Arsenal. They started ever so well. The fans were behind them. It's just gone a bit quiet now. But these players have to give the fans something to cheer about to get them back into this game.
Roberts looking for that crossfield ball again to Reece James, and he just over-judges it. And it skips beyond Reece James and goes out for a throw. Busy week to come on 5 Live, Monday Night Club at Mark Chapman tomorrow, followed by live commentary of West Ham against Leicester in the Premier League. On Tuesday we'll bring you Barrow against Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup, and on Wednesday also in that competition, West Brom have got off to a flyer back down to the Championship. They take on Arsenal in that League Cup competition. Reminder that 6 of 6 tonight with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton with you once this game ends, so around about 6:30, and the lines are open for that now. I would imagine Southampton and Manchester United fans will have something to say after that 1-1 draw today. Tottenham and Wolves fans too. Here is Rudiger with a real injection of pace to get to the ball ahead of Pepe, and he kicks the ball out, and Arsenal have an attacking throw in on the right hand side.
But that's what you got to do. You got to mix it up, and that's where Pepe and Saka and Martinelli have to stretch in behind, because all three of them are quick. But it was good covering there from Rudiger.
And we told you that Rangers have beaten Ross County 4-2. The other games in Scotland's top flight have ended. Dundee 2, Hibs 2 at finishes. Hearts 1, Aberdeen 1. Ball into the penalty area for Arsenal, just too high for Martinelli. Xhaka's going to try and get it on the edge of the penalty area. Maybe he was fouled. Play on, says the referee. Xhaka back to Lukongo, urged to shoot. Plenty of power, no accuracy. It sails high and wide. It's a goal kick to Chelsea, and it remains 1-0 to the visitors. St Johnstone 0, Dundee United 1 is the other full-time score in Scotland.
He started well, Conor Lukongo, in midfield. I was impressed with him a bit at Brentford. Not as good because the whole team struggled, but today he's getting on the ball, he's making things happen, and he started the game really well.
With Sambi Lukongo, who was on the standby list for Belgium's Euro squad, despite being only 21. And we know what talent they've got at their disposal. And it's going to be very interesting to see how he fares in the Premier League this season. Arsenal trailing at home in the sunshine. Sun back out from behind the clouds now as Marcus Alonso comes forward. Lukaku shoots, edge of the penalty area. Decided early he was going to take that on. Holding was able to block the shot. It didn't get through to Leno. Saka picks it up for Arsenal. Tackled well by Azpilicueta. Azpilicueta's done well in those one-on-ones when those two have collided so far.
He has, Conor, you're spot on, and I thought Saka would have the beating of him, but he's got experience. Azpilicueta, a really seasoned professional, and he just gets better and better with age.
This is not Azpilicueta's first rodeo. He's seen it all, he's done it all. He has the t-shirt, and he knows how to deal with flyers like Bukayo Saka. Alonso on the ball. System looks very good for Chelsea. Everyone's where they need to be. No square pegs in round holes as Rudiger rolls it back to Edouard Mendy. I mean, in many respects, obviously Tuchel coming in is huge, but you could certainly point to the arrival of Edouard Mendy to where things started to go right over the last 12 months or so for Chelsea.
Yeah, definitely. Kepa was struggling. He was struggling big time. They had to bring a goalkeeper. Not a lot of people knew about Mendy, but he came in. He was excellent. Made big saves in crucial games, and he gave. Because you ask anyone, Conor, as a player, if your goalkeeper keeps letting in goals and you're not quite assured, you start worrying about them.
Here come Chelsea on the counter-attack. Reece James sends it across just behind Lukaku. Lukaku stops and points in front of him and shows Reece James where he wanted it to be. Mount has kept it alive on the left wing though, and he tries a shot from a tight angle that was never going to deceive Leno, and that is a comfortable save for the Arsenal goalkeeper. Half an hour played here. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1. And there was a moment there when Pepe made a brief interception and the Arsenal fans thought, here we go, but he couldn't keep it. And then there was the groans when Kovacic got it off him immediately, and that sort of sums up the way this game is going. Here's Martinelli, a run on Christensen. Christensen, nothing fancy, rolls it back to Edouard Mendy behind him. And Martinelli's the only one who had gone on the attack here, no one else for Arsenal.
I can understand the fans there, because even I'm gesturing there. Go and squeeze in. If Martinelli squeeze in, Pepe go and squeeze in, midfield squeeze in, defence squeeze up, squeeze together as a unit.
Last season, Arsenal only scored 55 goals. It's the fewest from Arsenal since the mid-90s, back since Bruce Rioch was manager of the old Highbury. Aubameyang has provided so many of Arsenal's goals since he's come to the club, and without him, that you always wonder, well, where are the goals going to come from? Martinelli at times has looked like he could be the guy to take it on, but he's still very young. Today, by the way, I mean, Martinelli turned 20 in June. Today his 50th appearance for Arsenal. He's actually played quite a lot for a guy who's a teenager a few weeks ago. And he's had big injuries as well, Connor, that have kept him out for a bit as well. I do like him though. I do believe he is the future for Arsenal for sure. So Arsenal 0, Chelsea 1, holding on the halfway line. Go on, says an Arsenal fan near us. Holding plays a 1-2 at Suarez. Jorginho's applying pressure. Good ball from him. Onto Emile Smith-Rowe. Now can he pick a lock here? Can he spark something? Gives it to Pepe. Pepe doesn't fancy a run against Rudiger. He cuts back at himself. Suarez is up from right back here. Martinelli waits in the middle. Saka's in there too. Suarez plays a 1-2, then returns it again. This is good. Smith-Rowe into the penalty area, but an important block by Alonso. Arsenal get it back with Pepe, and he picks out Xhaka 10 yards outside the penalty area. To the left, and Tierney. Arsenal have pushed players forward now. Can Tierney find any of his teammates in a dangerous position? He gives it short to Saka. Azpilicueta is sticking to Saka like glue. Here is Lokonga. Oh, he tried to return it to Saka. There was a clever idea, but there wasn't any margin for error, and inevitably again it was Azpilicueta to intercept, and then a foul on Mari on Lukaku, and that is a free kick to Chelsea and a yellow card to Pablo Mari.
It is a yellow card. It's stupid, Connor. It's because Romelu Lukaku keeps pinning him. Just stand there. You're on the halfway line. Lukaku's not going anywhere. You just put yourself under pressure now for the whole game. Stand up. It's lazy defending, that is. He just wants to go to ground and leave a mark on Romelu Lukaku. It's stupid now. You have to watch yourself for the rest of the game.
Pablo Mari in the referee's notebook. Chelsea take the free kick. Rudiger is possession. Left hand side plays it up to Kai Havertz, and now on to Marcus Alonso inside the Arsenal half. He's done well, Alonso. Two players around him, but he finds some space, and Havertz returns it to him. Chelsea are playing with a real verve here. That's a good challenge though. Xhaka in on Lukaku. The loose ball slots from Mount, and then Reece James will score into the penalty area. His forward runs have been a threat right through the opening 34 minutes of this game, and Reece James gets his first Premier League goal of this campaign. He took it ever so well. This is trouble now for Arsenal. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2, 10 minutes to half time.
It's brilliant football, but it's poor from Arsenal. They're not getting nowhere near anybody, Connor. It's on the touchline. Cedric Suarez is there, and Havertz just turns him too easily. Alonso's in. Good ball to Lukaku. He seems like he lets it run through his leg. And Mason Mount picks the right pass to Reece James. And Reece James has started this game really well. Great touch, a great finish into the far corner. And that's why I like Reece James. I prefer him at right wing back than Azpilicueta. I think Azpilicueta is a better centre-half, but great finish and great move from Chelsea. Thoroughly deserved.
You know, Lukaku, who got the first goal, played an important part in that too. You can see the blueprint. You can see what Chelsea are trying to achieve. Balls into the feet of Lukaku. He uses his strength to then lay it off to the likes of Mount. On this occasion to Havertz. What a ball from Havertz to pick out Reece James, who's been making those tireless runs. He's been getting forward right since kickoff, and with the sight of goal, he put it beyond Leno. His one goal last season, Reece James, came against Brighton, September early last season. He took that ever so well. 2-0 Chelsea. What do Arsenal do from here?
I honestly can't tell you, because the players just look what could I say, low on confidence at the moment, Connor. I think they started off ever so well, and they know they had the fans behind them, but as soon as you can see that goal, fans go a bit quiet, then you have to respond and give them something to cheer about, but they haven't. They've got to go and squeeze together, and they're not squeezing, they're squeezing as individuals. But you have to credit Chelsea. Chelsea have had the chances and they've been ruthless, and it goes to show what a signing Lukaku's been for Chelsea so far.
Well, Arsenal are being schooled here, 2-0 down. Albert Sambi Lokonga 21, Bukayo Saka still 19, Martinelli 20, Emile Smith-Rowe just turned 21, and for all their promise and undoubted talent, it's a little bit men against boys here. You just look at hardened guys like Rudiger, Kovacic, Jorginho, Lukaku. These guys have been around the block. They have won the big medals, the big trophies. They win winning 2-0 here as it stands. Mari clears away for Arsenal. Smith Rowe onto Saka. Back to Tierney. Tierney will come forward into the Arsenal half, gives it to Smith Rowe right up against the touchline, then he turns from midway inside the Chelsea half and gives it back to the halfway line to Mari again. Chelsea are working hard without the ball. Alonso gets up close to Pepe. Suarez forced to retreat again. Lukaku pressures holding. Thomas Tuchel will be absolutely delighted with what he's seen here, because Arsenal came out of the blocks, they wanted to lay the early tempo, Chelsea absorbed that, and the European Cup winners have been dominant ever since. Pepe back to Lokonga. Arsenal inside their own half. Chelsea applying the pressure, holding now back level with his own penalty area, and all he can do is hoof it forward, trying to pick out a run by Martinelli, and the ball bounces out of play. And Arsenal, well, they are not very convincing that a comeback is on the cards here, Clinton.
For me, Pepe has to do more, Connor. He keeps wanting to drop so deep. He's a winger. Stay high up. If Alonso's there, take him on one-on-one. Alonso likes to go forward. And Rudiger. This is why they paid so much money for you. Go and take people on and be positive. Doesn't matter if you lose it. It's better than what you're doing now, just getting the ball and passing it back to Cedric, going out the other way. Give these fans a lift.
2-0 to Chelsea. Very much worth that 2-0 lead. And here comes Emile Smith-Rowe. A bit of room to run into here. Gets almost to the edge of the penalty area. Tierney on the left. Cross hits the heels of Reece James. And then an awkward header by Jorginho. Nearly put his teammates in trouble. It almost fell for Smith-Rowe, but he couldn't get a touch, and Mendy was able to dive on it. If Arsenal could get a goal back ahead of half-time, that would change everything, but time is running out in that regard. 6 minutes to the break.
Yeah, you're right. If they could get a goal, to be fair, the next goal in this game is really important, but it's just they haven't created any clear-cut chances, Connor, and that's the biggest problem. The most likely, and we keep saying it, and it shouldn't be, is Smith Rowe at this precise moment. He's getting into pockets, making things happen. Saka, we want more from Saka. We know he's a talent, but when he gets the ball, he's got to be positive more.
The influence of Havertz is really growing in the game. He pushes it in front of Mason Mount here. Mount into the penalty area, around Mari once and then twice. Lukaku at the far post, and it actually glanced off Havertz on the way through. Otherwise, Lukaku would have scored. He was up, he was about to head it, but Havertz almost intercepted it in front of his teammate. Arsenal very lucky not to be 3-0 down.
Yeah, Chelsea have been fantastic in this first half, and it's Mason Mount again down that left-hand side, twisting and turning Cedric one way or the other. He don't know where he's coming or going, and it was a good ball in, and I think Havertz just took it off Romelu Lukaku's head.
Well, last season in the Premier League, Arsenal lost 13 games in all. 9 of those 13 were just by a 1-goal margin, so you could say, well, you know, they're rarely battered, and it's almost that agonising belief that, maybe just 1 or 2 tweaks and we could turn this. The trouble you just see here, a 2-0 down. Do Arsenal have any hope of getting back into this against a team playing as well as this Chelsea side? Here is Nicolas Pepe, short to Granit Xhaka, midway inside the Chelsea half. Tierney stabs it infield to Pepe once more. Lateral ball out to Saka on the left-hand side. So many Chelsea players lining up on the edge of the penalty. Now Saka goes down. Referee says no penalty. VAR will definitely look at this. Bukayo Saka running into the penalty area. Paul Tierney, the referee, immediately waved his arms apart to say that Reece James had not fouled him. James is running for it now. I guess
it's a hard one because he's not stuck his foot out Reece James, but where Bukayo Saka's running forward, his foot's caught Reece James's foot. For me, I don't think he's going to give that as a penalty. No.
I think Saka runs into Reece James.
Saka runs into him and catches him. I thought Reece James stuck a foot out. He didn't. Saka's foot goes into Reece James. Never once does he change his movement, so I can't see him overturning it.
Saka's speed there, and for once he had slipped the attentions of Azpilicueta. Paul Tierney just waiting for confirmation from the VAR, but his instinct at the time was no penalty, and having seen the replays, I would be surprised if the VAR would overrule that as a clear and obvious mistake.
I think it's the right decision. Tierney gets that right. If Reece James had stuck a foot out, he would have given it corner, but it's Saka that goes into Reece James. So I think it's the right decision from the referee.
That could have changed everything. This is agonising for Arsenal. They still haven't had the confirmation, but now the corner will be taken. Hang on, there's pushing in the middle. Xhaka has been jostling with Azpilicueta, and the referee just said, wait, don't take the corner until that has stopped. For a moment I thought the VAR had said something in his ear about don't take the corner, but it's just the congested nature of the 6-yard box. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. The goals from Romelu Lukaku, and Reece James. Here comes the Pepe corner for Arsenal. Havertz wins it on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Mason Mount continues the clearance. And after the sunshine earlier on, it's now heavy rain in North London. Saka, had that penalty been given, 2-1, it's a very different prospect.
Yeah, it's definitely game. I did shout penalty straight away because I thought maybe Reece James had stuck a leg out, but it was good defended. He just waited for Saka to make the contact, and Saka tripped over him. So Tierney, referee, makes the right decision there.
Arsenal get it up to Martinelli. Now is he onside? First touch wasn't good. Showed too much of it to Rudiger. Rudiger's having a good game, and he puts it out by the corner flag for a throw-in. Martinelli tried to do a little drag back there, which I'm not sure was fully necessary, Clinton. Why didn't he just take it on?
He's in, and he's quick. He can just he's tried to drag. It is behind him, so he's trying to drag it around him. But you're right, he didn't have to do the fancy drag. He could have took a touch, and then he was one-on-one with Rudiger.
Yeah, no. To his credit, having seen the replay, it takes
it was just behind him, wasn't it? Yeah, it wasn't in his momentum.
Yeah, live at the time, it looked like he was being a little bit unnecessarily flash, but he had to, and Rudiger did well. And the wind is up now, blowing around the Emirates. Here is Smith Rowe on the left wing for Arsenal. Tries to play a 1-2 with Tierney. Azpilicueta cuts that out though. He won't keep it in play, or will he? No, it'll be an Arsenal throw. Very much running out of time now. 2 minutes of normal time remaining in the first half here. The wind is really up. It's come gusting in. Supporters in the front rows of the stadium are all reaching for their hoods. And
they all had their t-shirts and shorts on when we came in here, Connor.
You never know. You never know in this country, even in August. You got to bring the protective gear. It's been warm today, but it is absolutely teeming down of rain at the moment. Reece James, score of Chelsea's second goal, puts the ball out for an Arsenal corner. Can they capitalise with this? Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Pablo Mari's gone forward, Rob Holding as well. They're without Gabriel, they're without Ben White at the moment, they're without Thomas Partey. Corner is played in, Lukaku gets a touch. Suarez receives it, floats back in towards the far post. Mari jumps, Holding! Oh, he tried to swivel and volley, and Chelsea get it away. There was no shot on target. And it's Alonso who's caught late by Holding. As the ball is cleared away, that was right in front of the assistant. Alonso is hurt. I think he's going to need some treatment. And Holding is now having a little argument with Antonio Rudiger, who felt that Holding was a little bit over rigorous with the challenge there. He was too in the referee's mind, because Paul Tierney has shown him a yellow.
Yeah, he has. He did catch him late, but before that, Arsenal don't have enough bodies in the box, Connor. Look, Mari does well. There's only Holding that's in there that's looking like he wants to score a goal. Where's the Pepes, the Martinellis and the Saka? Get in the box. That's how you need to score goals. But it was good. It was good from Arsenal. They kept it alive, to be fair. But Holding did catch Alonso late.
So both Arsenal centre-backs have now been booked. Pablo Mari and Rob Holding, which might be a little bit of concern later in the game. They've both got to be well behaved now since Mikel Arteta's appointment. Arsenal have had 9 Premier League red cards, which is 3 more than any other team. These sides do tend to get stuck in and do tend to fall foul of the law. It's like a blizzard now. Look at that rain.
Yeah.
Gee, where's that come from? 2 minutes being added on for stoppages at the end of the first half.
Yeah, you're right. Where has it come from, to be fair? They did forecast showers, so maybe it's just a quick passing shower.
Tierney plays it forward. Now Saka. Can he get past Azpilicueta this time? Reece James doubling up. Saka tries to come in field. That's a great ball. Xhaka into the penalty area. Jorginho gets close, and it comes off the knee of Jorginho and out for a corner. Arsenal have actually had a decent last 3 or 4 minutes here, but can they make it count in stoppage time at the end of the first half?
They have. They don't really want half-time. This is more like it. This is what the fans wanted to see. Them pressing forward. There's good back heel from Xhaka and a good back heel from Saka. A good run from Xhaka, but good defending again from Chelsea.
Arsenal have won the last 3 meetings in all competitions against Chelsea. That includes the FA Cup final last year, but they trailed 2-0 here. Pepe's going to take the corner from the left. No elevation on it at all. Cleared away by the first defender. Groans from Arsenal fans. It comes out to Pepe. Can he do better this time? He passes it back to Saka. 15 yards, and he was coming back from an offside position. Pepe And that is going to be a free kick to Chelsea, and you can imagine that's the end of that for the first time.
You know what used to infuriate me when I was a player? When you have a corner and you can't miss the first man. That is the most annoying and frustrating thing, even more for defenders who have come up all that way, and then you miss you hit the first man. It's purely frustrating, and that's how these Arsenal fans feel at this precise moment.
We mentioned the sartorial attire of the two coaches earlier on. Thomas Tuchel, who's got the wet gear on down there, he's just been able to flip his hood over his head. Mikel Arteta's fancy stylish gear isn't quite made for this weather, and he's gone out of view now, presumably sheltering from the rain that is teeming down at the Emirates. This could become an interesting atmosphere in the second half, because the Arsenal fans have got to be demoralised. 2-0 down, it could get worse here. Opening home game of the season, having lost to Brentford last week, and there is half-time. So Lukaku, all the expectancy, he's played well, he's held it up well. Most importantly for a number 9, he has got his goal. And the other from Reece James, who took it so well after a neat build-up. Havertz's assist was absolutely glorious. And what great times these are for Chelsea. They've won the Super Cup, they've won the Champions League, and they are headed towards back-to-back opening wins in the Premier League, unless Arsenal really get their act together in the second half here.
Yeah, they've been excellent. I think Arsenal started the game ever so well, and Arsenal need these fans obviously to stick with them. There's a lot of boos going off at half-time, but credit Chelsea. Romelu Lukaku, he said before his goal he only had 2 touches, but it doesn't matter how many touches, he had the important touch that put the ball in the net, and then he came alive in the game. But in Reece James, who scores the second goal, the move was fantastic, Connor, and I think he's been probably the best player on the pitch in the first half. Reece James, I think he's been excellent.
Arsenal only had 2 shots in that first half, only one of them on target, and it didn't threaten Mendy at all. And you know, Steve, they say you should never go back. 7 years after he left Chelsea, Romelu Lukaku is back with a bang.
I think, Clinton, that might be the first team since the return of full stadiums to be booed off by their fans at half-time. And I'm not blaming the fans at all, because they were massively second best there.
Yeah, definitely. This has been a long time with Arsenal fans. They are frustrated. They deserve more. They're a huge club. So if they're not going to produce on the pitch, these fans are going to vent their frustration. Obviously, it's never nice to hear as a player, but they were in the game. And then as soon as they conceded across, it looked like their heads dropped, stopped closing down. I think all these Arsenal fans want is just a bit of heart and determination and go and press together and get. Even at the end, Murray heads the header. It's only Rob Holding in there wanting to attack to score the goal. How are you going to get back in the game when you've only got 1 or 2 players in the box? So they have to be positive more to give these Arsenal fans something to cheer about.
Yeah, well, I spoke to Pablo Mari the other day and I asked him whether he was looking forward to the challenge of playing Romelu Lukaku, and he said yes. I don't think he is enjoying the challenge of playing Romelu Lukaku.
He's not enjoying it, because he made a silly tackle on the halfway line where he's gone in the back of Romelu Lukaku and he gives away and he gets booked then, and now he's under pressure the whole game. And you know what Lukaku's doing? He's playing on him the whole game. He's not once come over to hold inside. He's played on Mari, and he will keep doing that now because he's on a yellow card, and Mari has to be careful. But I said before the game, Romelu Lukaku, he is a handful, and defenders don't get too tight to him and don't give away needless free kicks. Let him have his touch and show him backwards.
He's got his goal on his second debut, Romelu Lukaku. Great finish from Reece James as well, and that's why it's Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2 at half-time at the Emirates. More from Conor McNamara and Clinton Morrison to come second half commentary. Of course, let's get the latest from Carnoustie. The leaders well into their back 9 on the final day of the British Open. Ian Carter.
Britain's Georgia Hall is right in this because she is going to the last at 11 under par. The clubhouse lead is at 10 under par. That's held by the Australian Minjee Lee. Anna Nordqvist, who was out in front, has just bogeyed the par 5 12th. That drops her back to 11 under par alongside Georgia Hall. But Nana Kurtz Madsen, the Dane, ranked just outside the world's top 60, is about to make it back-to-back birdies. She's got a short putt on this par 5 12th, and that will take her into the outright lead. Louise Duncan still going very nicely at 9 under par, within 3 shots of the lead. There is the birdie for Madsen, and so the Dane is at the top of the leaderboard, with Georgia Hall going to the last, surely needing a birdie to potentially land a second Women's Open title.
Full commentary right now on 5 Live Sports Extra. There's also live text commentary on the BBC Sport website, highlights on iPlayer round about 8 p.m, and highlights on BBC 2 at 11:20. Coming up next, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Shea Adams after Southampton won, Manchester United won. Nuno Espirito Santo back at Molineux, victorious. Spurs beating Wolves by 1-0. 08085 909 693. The lines are open. Get your calls in now. 606 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, and we'll have Chris with us after the news on 5 Live with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Boris Johnson has called a meeting of the G7 leaders on Tuesday to discuss the crisis in Afghanistan. NATO believes at least 20 people have died in the past 7 days around Kabul airport, where thousands have been making desperate attempts to get out of the country since the Taliban regained power. Our chief international correspondent, Lise Doucette, has arrived at the airport.
In every direction I look are the huge grey military transport planes from the United States and to many other countries. Military helicopters in the sky, and heading toward every single plane, a long queue of Afghans.
To help with the evacuation, the US government has ordered the emergency use of civilian aircraft for only the 3rd time in its history. 18 planes will be used. They won't fly into Kabul itself, but will pick up people taken to other cities in the region. 32,253 new coronavirus infections have been recorded in the UK in the past 24 hours. A further 49 deaths within 28 days of a positive test have been reported. Antibody tests will be offered to thousands of adults in the UK who test positive for coronavirus as part of a scheme to find out how much natural protection people develop after becoming infected. People will be able to opt in when taking a PCR test from Tuesday. 5 people were seriously injured last night at a car meet in Lincoln when 2 vehicles hit spectators. Police say the cars were being driven at high speed in front of a large crowd when they crashed.
BBC Sounds.
Back to life, back to reality.
Jump back to the 80s and groove to the sounds of funk and soul. Get stuck into the rave with 90s drum and bass. Or two-step your way through the nostalgia of the noughties. 6 Music's all-day rave takes you on a journey through the decades. Listen on the BBC Sounds app.
This is 5 Live Sport
with Steve Crossman.
Half-time then at the Emirates, and it's Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. Romelu Lukaku back with a bang. 08085 909 693. The lines are open for 606. We'll speak to Chris Sutton shortly. Let's get a bit of reaction to the 2 earlier kickoffs. Manchester United couldn't build on that opening day demolition of Leeds. Southampton earned a fully deserved 1-1 draw against them at St Mary's. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer with Andy Gillies.
Well, I wonder what your thoughts are. I've written down that sometimes it was very sloppy today and sometimes it was very good. It was a real mixed bag, wasn't it?
Yes, you're right. I think it was a very extreme distance from top to bottom, from the good performance to the bad performance, because at times I thought we played some excellent football, and then one sloppy pass, one square pass, one bad touch, and they're at you like sharks because they're so sharp on counter-attacks and they're so quick. So we need to tighten up, of course.
Because there'll be people who looked at last week's result and saw you with that flying start and then say, well, how do you go from that to this?
Now, that's football. You know, there's margins here as well. Last week we were extremely clinical in our finishing. This week we had some massive chances, some good goalkeeping, some blocks on the line and hit the crossbar. I don't think we deserved to score only one. So we created some massive chances, which I'm very pleased with. And other end, David shows what a good keeper he is as well. It saves us. So we could have won, maybe should have, but we could have lost.
Bruno seemed unhappy about the challenge on him, which led to the Southampton goal. What were your thoughts? You were very close to it. Obviously.
Yeah, it's a foul. Definite foul, because he not shoulder barge. I mean, he comes in with his hip and his arm, and he gets across Bruno and goes through him first, and then he gets the ball. Saying that we should react better. You know, referees make mistakes, and that's fine. But we should react better. We should block that shot, and we shouldn't let them get an easy goal after.
You're a man with a multi-million, almost £1 billion substitutes bench, but Mason Greenwood, one of your homegrown players, showed that striker's instinct again, didn't they?
Yeah, we do have a good academy, you know. So, Mason's good goal, good build-up play, good sharp football. And at times I thought we played some fantastic stuff because it's not easy. They defended with everything they had and countered really well as well.
Well, it was Mason Greenwood who got United's equaliser after Southampton's opener, which was an own goal from Fred, deflecting in Shea Adams' shot. Here's Adams with Andy.
Shea, well done. That was some afternoon, capped with your goal, and just a memorable occasion, I suspect.
I don't know if it is my goal, actually. I've seen it back, and apparently they gave it as an own goal. So,
The strikers claim them, though.
Exactly, but, it's up to them what they want to do. But it was, a positive to get a point in the end, and we hold on.
You press so hard as a team. How hard is that to keep going throughout 90 minutes? Because there appear to be periods in the game where you press very hard and then you just have to sit back and almost take a rest, really.
Exactly. You have to pick and choose. Against the top teams, they're just going to keep the ball and be calm on the ball. So we have to pick our moments, when to go and when to stay in. And I think we did that well today. So, as I said, it's just a positive.
And for this place to be almost full, I know there are a few issues with ticketing today, but almost full, for that sort of performance, how important is that for the whole club and for the city as well?
Yeah, for the city it's massive. Football's nothing without the fans, and we felt that this past year. So it was great to have them back in, and the roar when the goal went in, it was unbelievable and undescribable.
Harry Kane got a great reception from the Tottenham fans. He came off the bench as Tottenham made it 2 wins from 2 at Wolves. Dele Alli scored the only goal from the penalty spot. Here's Nuno Espirito Santo with John Roeder.
First of all, Nuno, did you enjoy returning to Molineux? I guess winning makes it much more enjoyable.
This is not the point. Nothing to do with winning or not winning. When I arrived, everybody felt that it's a special moment. It was 4 years of our lives together, so it will stick forever in our memories.
You got that early penalty. Was it just the start you needed here?
Yeah, it's always good to start a game with a goal. Makes things much easier, but inside of the game we have a lot of things to look at. Wolves did a good game. Wolves did a very good game. It was very demanding on us, but we were compact. We defend well. We give everything that we have, and we had clear chances to make a different situations. But very proud of the boys. Really proud because they worked very hard today.
Harry Kane came on as a substitute. It's the inevitable Harry Kane question, I guess, that you've been asked thousands of times over the last few weeks. What is the latest on the situation, or has anything changed?
He played. So he took his process, he is getting back to his fitness, he still has to improve, and he helped the team today. He was a big help for us. We are talking one of the best players in the world. We are very, very lucky to have him.
In the Scottish Premiership, Hibs moved to the top of the table on goal difference despite Paul McGowan's late header earning Dundee a point in a thrilling 2-2 draw. They join Hearts and Aberdeen on 7 points after they drew 1-1. Rangers won 4-2 at Ross County, so that set things up really nicely for the Old Firm derby against Celtic. We're bringing you full commentary of it next Sunday. 08085 909 693. You can call now to speak to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. They'll be with you for 6:06 after the full-time whistle at the Emirates. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. I mean, plenty to talk about tonight. Chelsea, they look the real deal, don't they? Lukaku, will he take Chelsea to the title? But Arsenal, where are they heading under Mikel Arteta? We've got Matthew, an Arsenal fan, on the line. Matthew, what did you make of the first half?
First half, I was more angry about the first goal conceded. Second goal was well worked. What can I say? Fantastic Chelsea side, aren't they?
Yeah, but I mean, how far are Arsenal behind Chelsea at this moment in time?
A million miles, and that is no exaggeration.
Does that make it not okay, but does that just sort of pull back the anger slightly? You know, if you're that far behind them, how upset can you be seeing what's happening in front of them?
I've heard a lot of fans criticising the manager, and that's fair enough, but the owners have to shoulder some responsibility for me.
I mean, where is the team heading under Arteta, Matthew, in your view?
Do you know what? I have got sympathy for Arteta because a lot of these players are not actually his players. But obviously, was it last season we signed Willian, which I did question.
But you heard the boos ring round at half-time. I mean, there's a lot of Arsenal fans who think it's time for a change. Are you one of those?
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, but I am, yeah. I think the job's just too big for him.
They'll come back and win 3-2 now, Matthew. And then he'll be manager of the month. Listen, Matthew, thank you very much for coming on.
Bless you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
I don't know, Chris, I have a bit of sympathy as well, especially given, when a COVID outbreak robs you of Aubameyang, of Lacazette. Just looking at the team sheet, they should be quite far behind Chelsea, shouldn't they?
Yeah, but, you make a fair point about the COVID outbreak, but should Arsenal have been performing better against Brentford anyway? It's
Yes.
two players, this could happen a lot this season. I just thought the golfing class between Arsenal and Chelsea was so vast in that first half. I mean, Pablo Mari up against Lukaku, a total mismatch. I worry for Arteta. I think the fans have turned against him. Fans back into the stadiums now, and I do think that there's a lot of Arsenal fans out there who just aren't having Arteta anymore. But maybe things will turn around in the second half. But I don't know what you think, Steve. You just don't feel it. You just don't feel that Arsenal are heading in the right direction.
Listen, Chris, you just said to me, you make a fair point. That might be the nicest thing you've ever said. I'm giddy. I'm giddy with that.
There we go. I've gone soft.
Isn't it? Chris, speak to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
08085 909 693. Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage. Second half commentary on the way at the Emirates. Let's nip back to the British Open, though. Final stages. Ian Carter.
Georgia Hall on the 18th. Still plenty of golf to be played by the later starters, but Georgia Hall now over a 2-foot putt. This for a par, having come up just a fraction shy with her birdie attempt. She's at 11 under par. Clubhouse lead at 10 under at the moment. In it goes for Georgia Hall, and that is a fantastic closing round of 67 for the British player, and she sets the target at 11 under par. A really spirited display from Georgia Hall as she knocks that in, and there's the applause. And it means that she has set the target at 11 under par, but Nana Kurtz-Madsen out on the course is the leader at 12 under. Demanding finishing stretch of holes, Steve. A lot of drama could happen between now and the climax of this tournament, and Georgia Hall is going nowhere. She has the clubhouse lead at 11 under par.
There's going to have to be a lot of drama at the Emirates if we're going to hear applause at full time there. Connor.
Yes, we are back underway. Thanks, Steve. And no changes in personnel over the break. The rain is still teeming down. It's not been the most friendly atmosphere over the break. There are a lot of unhappy Arsenal fans. Being 2-0 down is all well and good, but the manner of the performance, the lack of pressure being applied to Edward Mendy, the Chelsea goalkeeper. And, we heard Clinton over half-time there. Chris Sutton was chatting to Arsenal fan Matthew. He says he thinks the job is too big for Arteta. I mean, that's the sort of thing people are going to be talking about. It's a tough game. They've been the European champions, but it's not good enough.
Yeah, evidently the buck always lies with the manager, and obviously the manager, he sets out the team, he picks these players, and at the moment it's not good enough, and he is under huge pressure.
Here is Lukaku, back to goal, holds the ball up, tries to release it to Mason Mount. Mount takes a tumble into the penalty area. Referee says no foul. Chelsea playing from left to right as we look down. They lead 2-0, and Azpilicueta's got space to play a low ball into the feet of Lukaku. Good feet for the big man as he tries to get past Holding and Xhaka, and then eventually the ball is cleared out for a Chelsea throw, and they will remain on the attack down the right-hand side. The Arsenal team, Leno the goalkeeper, Suarez, Holding, Mari and Tierney of the back four. Holding and Mari were booked in the first half. Albert Sambi Lokonga alongside Granit Xhaka in the middle. Then Pepe, Smith Rowe and Saka behind Martinelli up front. The Chelsea team, Mendy the goalkeeper, three central defenders, Azpilicueta, Christensen and Rudiger. Reece James, one of the goal scorers, is at right wing back. Marcus Alonso at left wing back. Jorginho and Kovacic in the middle. Mason Mount and Kai Havertz in support of Romelu Lukaku, who has scored on his return to Chelsea. Never found the back of the net in his first stay as a Chelsea player. Played 15 games in total, all but one in cup competitions, but he has got a debut second time round goal, which, a lot of money and all the rest of it, but he wouldn't have wanted to go 3, 4, 5, 6 games without scoring. That would have increased the pressure. He's got that out of the way. Thomas Tuchel is very frantically pointing and gesturing down in front of us. Reece James's position is of concern to him at the moment. Mikel Arteta cutting a lonely figure standing in the rain on the edge of the Arsenal technical area to our left.
Just press, do you know what I mean? Just press, Connor. Look at that. He's brought the ball out. There's 4 players around him, Christensen, and they're not going to try and make a tackle. Just give these fans something to cheer about.
Christensen brought that from the penalty area to the halfway line without a tackle. And the Arsenal fans, some of them are only still taking their seats. I mean, all the money they spent in the stadium, the number of people who still get wet when it rains here is actually ridiculous. But
yeah,
you can see you're 2-0 down and you're getting drenched. You'd be sort of slow to go back to your seat.
Definitely.
Throw in for Arsenal. Suarez to take. Had been Callum Chambers who played right back in the opening match against Brentford. Tavares had come on for him in that game, but Suarez, a former Southampton man, starting today. Mason Mount gives it to Kovacic and back to the centre circle again. Azpilicueta, if you weren't joining our coverage in the first half, he did very well against Bukayo Saka. Here is Lukaku into the penalty area, tries to turn Mari does well to stand his ground. Lukaku does shoot, it repels up into the air, and Arsenal haven't fully gotten it away. Oh, that's a clever back heel by Alonso to pick out Kai Havertz. He tries to shoot from a tight angle, he appeals it may have struck an arm. Arsenal do get it away, but Chelsea are banging on the door for a third goal. Clinton Morrison.
They are. Oh, great pace here from Tierney, to be fair, but nah, he's done ever so well there, Tierney has. Sorry, Connor, I just love that from Tierney, and look what happens. It gets the crowd up. You go and press someone, it gets the crowd up.
That is what Arsenal needs so much more of. In many respects, that was a lost cause Tierney was sprinting after. Christensen was a big head start ahead of him, but he put the pressure on, and there was a mistake, and now Smith Rowe thinks he's in. However, the flag is raised on the far side. That one run from Kieran Tierney has given Arsenal a new life. Boy, they need it.
Look, Connor, look at the fans. They're up. That's what you want. It doesn't matter about the fancy passing or the tricks and that. Just work hard, and then these fans will get behind you. But before that, Lukaku, it was good defending from Mauri, because Lukaku he didn't get too tight to him. He let him have his touch, and then he blocked it. So really good defending.
Mauri did well on Lukaku there, holding. Plays it out towards Pepe. It is intercepted by Marcus Alonso in the driving rain. Kovacic is challenged, and the ball won back by Cedric Suarez. Tackles flying in all over the place now. The latest was Jorginho and Smith Rowe, which the referee deemed to be fair. Arsenal fans up on their feet now. They're 2-0 down at home to Chelsea. Suarez recovers to roll the ball back to Brent Leno away to our right hand side. Arsenal in red, Chelsea in blue. Arsenal trying to make a game of it.
No, they are, and that's what they need. They need the fans behind them, but they need these fans. They need to give them a lift. It's simple in football. It's a ball, that is, by the way.
Pepe gets onto it down the right hand side. Launched pass from the Arsenal half has picked out Pepe on the right wing. Martinelli's waiting in the middle. Sakho's in there. Lukongo on the edge of the box gives it back out to Smith Rowe. This needs to be a good cross, and he doesn't manage to beat Rudiger. Rudiger with a diving header puts it out for an Arsenal corner. If Arsenal could score early in this first half, we could be in for a treat.
100%. I say the next goal in this game is really important, Connor. If Arsenal get it, these fans will get behind them. This place will lift, and they'll be on the front foot.
Corner taken quickly. Suarez gives it back out to Pepe. His delivery again doesn't beat the first man. It must be so frustrating. Mason Mount was able to head it clear. Lukonga back into the mix once more. Alonso does well in the air. This is Sakho on the edge of the box. Goes for goal. What a shot! And tipped over the crossbar by Edward Mendy. He nearly took the leather off the ball there. That was some shot from Saka. Did it have a deflection as well? It did. It came off the leg of Alonso. Good goalkeeping, Mendy. That would have gone in.
Yeah, good strike from Saka. The deflection, and obviously a good save from Mendy. It's right at him, Connor, but still his reactions have to be good because of the deflection.
Corner again. Latest in succession for Arsenal. Pepe will be the man to take it. Towards the front post, Lukaku wins the header. Good commanding header too. Sends it well out of the penalty area. And now Saka on the left wing for Arsenal, taking on Azpilicueta, tries to push him out towards the corner flag, and has that ball gone out of play? They're hustling for it right by the byline. Goal kick, and another victory for Cesar Azpilicueta in that personal battle between him and Saka. Azpilicueta's done really well today.
He has. He's defended really good. He showed all his experience. He knows what Saka wants to do, and he's defended well so far.
So Arsenal, who play at West Brom in the League Cup on Wednesday, then it's Manchester City away.
They don't get any easy. Arsenal's fixtures were tough, Connor, real tough. That's why the defeat against Brentford was a huge blow for today.
Yeah. Here is Lukaku, halfway line, stretching and getting the ball back to Reece James. The two Chelsea goal scorers combining. Rudiger comes over the halfway line with purpose. Look at Lukaku making a sprint here to get in the box. The ball in the end isn't played to him, but he knows there's more goals to be had here against this Arsenal defence.
Definitely, he was moving through the gears there, weren't he, Connor? He slowed it down and then he just started opening it up, but the ball didn't come into him. But he definitely knows there's more goals in this game for him.
So it takes a few paces to get up the head of steam, but he gets motoring Lukaku. He can really shift it. Making clever runs as well. As Chelsea have it with Mendy, their goalkeeper, wearing silver grey away to our left-hand side. The rain still coming down cats and dogs in North London. Alonso onto Kai Havertz. Havertz had some great touches in the first half. Wonder if he could be one of those players who will be even better in his second season in England now that he knows what it's all about. Kai Havertz. Rudiger, left full-back position. Keeps the ball in play, short to Alonso. They're just exuding confidence, Chelsea. They're trying to play everything. And the ball eventually goes out for a Chelsea throw.
I'm bringing on Aubameyang now. I'm just trying to make changes there, Connor. Make a couple of changes just to give the place a bit of a lift and have a bit more of a threat going forward at the moment through the middle. From Martinelli, I do like him a lot, but he's been starved of possession.
Chelsea again trying to play their way out of defence. Kovacic into Kai Havertz. It's a great ball. Received in the centre circle by the German. Helped on to Mason Mount, who's got Reece James outside him. They shifted so quickly and smoothly, Chelsea, and now they're bearing down on the Arsenal penalty area. Tierney retreated away. Azpilicueta, right-footed cross in. Lukaku swings and booted it, can't get a clean touch, and it's going to go out for a corner. It came off Suarez, corner to Chelsea. Another chance for Lukaku.
Yeah, half a chance to be fair. Azpilicueta delivers a good ball into the box and he tries to swing with his right foot. It was good defending in the end. But yeah, he is looking hungry, like he wants more goals. And Chelsea are just dominating. That's why I think Arsenal need to make a few changes. They need a spark, Connor. That's what they need.
And what we've seen today, this Chelsea team are going to provide opportunities for Lukaku. And given his record in recent seasons, there is no reason to expect he will not take them. He has come back 7 years after leaving Chelsea, but he is their number 9. He's got a goal today. Chelsea fans must be so excited to think where this season can bring them now with Lukaku in top 4. Havertz on the left wing after a corner. Mount with him in closer to, they're just flicking it on. Look at the neat triangular passing here. Jorginho involved. Back to Havertz. Arsenal can't get a kick. Havertz tries to turn the full-back. Suarez tries to backheel his way out of trouble. He's done well actually. And Smith Rowe clears away, but all he can do is clear. He's giving it straight back to Chelsea. Alonso midway inside the Arsenal half. Behind him Christensen. And now Jorginho. The movement is good from Chelsea. They're in no mood to surrender this 2-goal lead that they hold. Lukaku and James the scorers. 10 minutes played in the second half. Rudiger across the field to Azpilicueta on the right-hand side. 6:06 to come with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton later on. Here is Jorginho putting one in front of Lukaku. Mari had a head start to him and he will shepherd it back to Bernd Leno.
Yeah, I think Jorginho wanted Lukaku to go on his bike and have a race with him, but Lukaku had stopped there. So good defending from Mari, but it's all Chelsea. I don't even know what Arsenal can do to really realistically get back in this game at this precise moment. They're dominating in possession, they're pressing well, and these fans are getting even more frustrated here.
Leno goes searching long to Pepe, and Pepe's in an offside position, and there's really no excuse from that. From a clearance from the goalkeeper, Pepe's got to be more careful.
Standing there, Connor. Connor, he's criminal. He's looking across the line and he's standing in an offside position.
We saw that surging run from Tierney. That's what we need to see more from Pepe. Here is Mount shooting for Chelsea wide from the edge of the D. Left-footed shot, kept it down, but wide of the target.
Good play again from Reece James. Plays it into Lukaku. He flicks it around the corner to Mount. A shot that just goes wide of the post, but Chelsea are looking ominous at the moment.
That shot again from a layoff from Lukaku. And very interesting this season to see how many assists he gets, because Havertz and Mount, they will love feeding off those little layoffs.
Even someone like a Timo Werner coming from out wide, he might get more goals this season, Connor.
It's a very good point. You can see that, catch it. Werner in the left, Lukaku through the middle. That will be deployed. Martinelli's gone down here. Free kick to Arsenal. And almost ironic cheers from the Arsenal fans, who felt that they were due a free kick there, and it finally came. That's another thing we didn't have in the fake crowd noise. We had cheers. We didn't have ironic cheers.
Exactly.
You can't simulate that, really. Here is Cedric Suarez for Arsenal. Not a good ball to Smith Rowe. No chance of Smith Rowe getting to it. Groans from the Arsenal fans as Jorginho plays it up towards Lukaku. Good play by Pablo Mari to get there first for Arsenal. Still a long way to go. Still over half an hour plus the stoppages at the Emirates, but they need at least 2 goals, Arsenal. This is Suarez on the right-hand side. Up to Smith Rowe. Back to Holding. Chelsea for the moment sitting deep. Can Arsenal get in through them? They have troubled Mendy so sporadically in this game. Back to Leno. And Arsenal being forced to retreat here with no easy passes forward.
Yeah, they have a good shape, and the difference between Arsenal and Chelsea is Chelsea are pressing Arsenal.
Ball over the top. Martinelli's got a sprint after it, bounces, and that allows Christensen to pounce. Really good defending for the Dane. Martinelli seemed to have a head start in him, but once he allowed the ball to bounce, then Christensen could lunge, and he puts it out for a corner.
Yeah, it was good defending from Christensen. I wanted Martinelli to get his body in so Christensen couldn't get over the top of him, but good defending.
Chelsea's next games, by the way, away to Liverpool next Saturday. That'll be a beauty, and then Aston Villa at home, followed by Tottenham away. That's what's to come for Thomas Tuchel's side. 2-0 Chelsea. Pepe, corner deliveries I would suggest have not been great today. Let's see what he can do as a signal. Short run up from Pepe, gives it loads of height towards the back post. Pablo Mari, headed by Holding, just wide. Thousands of Arsenal fans thought it was in. They were jumping in the air. It is marginally wide.
He's got to score.
Rob Holding, so close.
He's got to score, Connor. He's 6 yards out. He's got a free header. He's coming across. Mauri does ever so well to head it back in. And once he gets there in front of Christensen, he is agonisingly wide, but he has to be scoring there.
Rob Holding, who has never scored a Premier League goal for Arsenal. That one was a whisker away. Can Arsenal build on this? Ball cleared away at the back by Azpilicueta for Chelsea. Kai Havertz will jump. Lokonga gets a touch for Arsenal inside the centre circle. And under pressure from Havertz here, he goes down. Referee says it's a push. And it's a free kick to Arsenal. Next few minutes in this game are going to be big. We are bang on the hour mark. 60 minutes played. Arsenal, have they left it too much to do? They are about to bring on their top scorer overall over the recent season since he's arrived at the club, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. While we wait for that change to be made here, let's see if anyone is going to threaten Georgie Hall's clubhouse lead at Carnoustie to Ian Carter.
Yeah, she's in the clubhouse at 11 under par, Connor. Nana Kurtz-Madsen has just picked up her third birdie in 4 holes at the par 5 14th. The Dane leads at 13 under par by 1 from Anna Nordqvist, her playing partner. They're off to the 15th tee.
Commentary of the Women's Open Golf is live on Sports Extra right now. You can watch the coverage and the highlights this evening, BBC 2, 11 p.m. with Ailey Barber. Right, Aubameyang is on. Can he provide a spark, Clinton Morrison?
I've got fans around here saying you don't know what you're doing. I don't understand you losing the game and you're taking off Saka.
That's it, that is the key.
I don't understand that.
Who's gone off, yeah.
Who's gone off? I do not understand that. I'd rather you sacrifice one of you, take off Cedric or something and try to change it.
Saka, who looked so good on international duty over the last season, but he's been replaced here. And a free kick to Chelsea for a foul by Granit Xhaka on Mason Mount. Rain still falling heavily. Chelsea still leading 2-0. Lukaku and James, the scorers in the first half. Aubameyang, who's got 3 goals against Chelsea in the past, 2 of them in the FA Cup final this month last year. Can he give some more presence? Martinelli's gone to the left wing, Aubameyang through the middle. Alonso here shepherding the ball out of play, knowing it'll be a Chelsea throw. Attacking position for them.
I'm sitting here, Connor, I'm still flabbergasted why he's took off Saka. I don't understand. Maybe he's having a quiet game, but still, he can do something, you know, and bring them back into this game.
The only thing I would say, and I do think Saka's great, is that Azpilicueta has had his number. Let's see what Martinelli does now, running against Azpilicueta and try to shepherd it through. Great defending, but it'll still fall for Aubameyang, and he shoots, and it's a shot on target, but straight into the midriff of Edouard Mendy. First touch for Aubameyang is a shot on target, and Martinelli taking on Azpilicueta there as Arsenal tries something new.
Yeah, it was unlucky. It was good from Martinelli. For me, Connor, I'm taking off Pepe. He's done nothing for me in the whole game. That's the one who's done nothing. He's moaning at all the other players. Do your job, mate. That's what you've been brought in to do. Make things happen. Don't moan about it. Run around and trying to, cause problems for Chelsea's defence, and you haven't done that at the moment.
There's Kai Havertz running out of defence for Chelsea. Alonso way ahead of him. Infield it comes to Mason Mount. Arsenal trying to get bodies back here as Mount attacks the edge of the penalty area. Into Lukaku, tries to turn Holding. Out comes Leno. Arsenal just about survive. Every time Lukaku's on the ball, he looks dangerous.
Yeah, he looks a threat. He couldn't sort his feet out there because it was good play from Mount. He rolled the ball into his feet and you were just waiting for him to hit the target, but it was really good defending from Holding.
Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. 5 live in the World Service from the BBC. 63 minutes on the clock. Tierney controls under pressure from Reece James, plays it in field, and he was intended for Xhaka, but Easily picked off by Jorginho. Too many of those 50-50 battles have been won by Chelsea today. Ball over the top. Lukaku will run after it. Arsenal fans thought he might have been offside. Holds up Lukaku. Mount provides support. Now Reece James level with the edge of the penalty area on the right-hand side for Chelsea. Rolls it back to Azpilicueta. Aubameyang lunges in and wins it back. That's more like it from Arsenal. Now who can match him? Here comes Lokonga. Through ball. Aubameyang runs. Mendy sweeper. Keeper comes 15-20 yards outside of his penalty area and clears it away. They hoped Aubameyang would give them a spark. He appears to have done so, but is it too little too late?
Yeah, and then Aubameyang has given them a spark, but this is not good news. Too many times Tierney's gone down and he looks like he's picked up an injury, and he just needs to get a run of games. It's a bit unfortunate because he is a key player for them, Kieran Tierney, but it doesn't look good. He's just gone down under no pressure whatsoever. Hopefully he's all right, but you're right, Connor. Aubameyang's give them a spark. You know, you want your captain to come on and lead by example, and that's exactly what he's doing at the moment.
So a break in play while Kieran Tierney gets some treatment. Reminder of the scores from earlier on today. Southampton took the lead against Manchester United in our 2 o'clock kickoff on 5 Live through Che Adams, but Greenwood with an equaliser for Manchester United. That one finished 1-1. And Nuno Espirito Santo, the Tottenham manager, went back to Wolves today and his team won by 1-0. Dele Alli scored a penalty, a game in which Harry Kane made an appearance for Spurs. Tottenham fans chanting he's one of our own. Is that an indication that he will be for longer? The fact he has played today, I'm sure none of the speculation is going to go away anytime soon. Reminder that we've got a busy week of football coming up on 5 Live. Tomorrow, Monday Night Club with Mark Chapman is followed by live commentary of West Ham against Leicester in the Premier League. On Tuesday, we'll be in the Northwest. Barrow host Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup. Villa looked very good yesterday against Newcastle in the Premier League. And on Wednesday, West Brom have been off to a flyer back down to the Championship. Will take on Arsenal, the team that we are watching here. Another change is about to be made. Tierney is not going to be able to continue. It's not good news for Arsenal. Nuno Tavares, the Portuguese left back, will come on in his place. Clinton Morrison.
Yeah, to be fair, Tavares, it'd be interesting, the new signing, what he's like. Obviously, they're going to miss Tierney. I think Tierney's a huge player for Arsenal, and he just needs to get a run of games because he does pick up injuries, and that's a huge blow for Arsenal. But he didn't look too bad when he was coming off, Connor. Maybe he could have continued, but you're thinking bigger games on the horizon.
2-0 down here today, but yeah, he has been scuppered by injuries right since arriving at Arsenal as Kieran Tierney. So Nuno Tavares, the 21-year-old, the summer signing from Benfica, is on at left back, which might as well be left wing back, the way that they're trying to chase the game now, Arsenal. Lukaku does well to get in front of Lokonga, and he'll take him on again. Lokonga got goal side, but the raw power of Lukaku bundles into him, and a yellow card for Lokonga. Arsenal fans not happy. Free kick Chelsea, yellow card Albert Sambi Lokonga.
It is a free kick and it is a yellow card, but it's consistency with Tierney, and that's why the Arsenal fans, because before Havertz is holding the ball, and really and truly that's a booking, so they are getting frustrated, the fans, because they think everything's against them at the moment. But it's great strong play again from Romelu Lukaku.
And if you're joining our coverage late on 5 Live, Chelsea held a 2-0 lead at the break. At that stage it did feel that they were going to run away with this game. Arsenal have marginally improved in the second period, but haven't been able to reduce the deficit. At least so far they've prevented Chelsea from increasing the lead. But an attacking free kick here, 15 yards outside the penalty area, and Mount and Alonso are having a discussion over what they are going to do with it. The Arsenal players are holding a line right on the edge of the penalty area. Mount is going to run over it. Alonso floats it in. At the back post is Rudiger, he heads it down, and Pablo Mari's header falls for Kovacic on the edge of the penalty area. He can't keep it down. It sails high over the crossbar. That's actually Chelsea's first shot in some time.
Yeah, because Arsenal have slowly but surely trying to grow into the game, and that's Aubameyang. He came on and gave them a bit of a spark as well.
If this was 1-0 Chelsea, I think you'd feel come back maybe on the card. 2-0 still feels a huge gulf. Quarter of the game to go. Christensen rolls it back to Mendy. This is where Chelsea will use their experience now. They'll look to frustrate Arsenal. Alonso put under pressure by Cedric Suarez. Ball goes out of play, throw into Chelsea.
Problem is that big chance, Connor. Rob Holding had a huge chance. If he scores then, just before Aubameyang was coming on there, this whole place lifts and they're in the ascendancy on the front foot.
He's only ever scored one league goal in his career, Rob Holding. That was back in his Bolton days in the Championship. He scored in the League Cup for Arsenal. He's never scored in the Premier League. He was so close to making it 2-1. Here comes Makonga for Arsenal. To the right-hand side and Cedric Soares. 2-0 Chelsea lead. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. Pepe trying to get in the game. Trying to shrug off Rudiger. Gives it to Suarez on the right hand side. Low cross into the middle. Smith Rowe. First touch. Set up in front of him. He tried to pounce with his second touch. Good defending. I think Alonso had a good touch in there. And the flag is raised. And I think it's for offside. And a free kick out to Chelsea.
I think it's great defending from Azpilicueta there, because the Smith Rowe, I think his touch is superb. And he comes across and reads the danger ever so well. It's good play from Arsenal down the right. But yeah, it's good defending from Azpilicueta. Superb block.
He's had a great game today. Cesar Azpilicueta. Lukaku will get headlines scoring on his debut, but Azpilicueta has snuffed out so much danger anytime Arsenal have come forward. It hasn't been that often, but whenever Arsenal have come forward, more often than not, it's been Azpilicueta who has thwarted them. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2, 20 minutes to go.
It don't get any easier because it looks like N'Golo Kante is coming on for Chelsea.
I mentioned in the first half, Chelsea's bench today, absolutely frightening. Lukaku feeds Havertz. Alonso into the penalty area, left-hand side. Chelsea looking for the third that'll seal it. Reece James shoots, deflected off Pablo Mari and out for a corner. Corner to Chelsea, and that third goal really will end matters if it's not already done.
Chelsea look like the most likely to get the next goal in this game. They're the ones pressing, they're the ones that are causing problems. Again into Romelu Lukaku. Mari can't handle him. Good ball out to Alonso, and he cuts inside, gives it back to Reece James, and it was a good block in the end.
Corner will be taken by Marcus Alonso. Right hand side as Chelsea come forward, leading 2-0 at the home of their big London rivals Arsenal. It's played in by Alonso. It's headed at the front post by Martinelli. It nearly falls up for Kovacic. His shot was skewed and goes across the face of goal and well wide. In the end, he caught it skewed with the outside of his right boot. It was never really threatening the target. But for Romelu Lukaku, joined from Anderlecht in 2011, £20 million deal, huge money at the time for a teenager. Andre Villas-Boas was the Chelsea boss at the time. He was loaned out to West Brom. He was loaned to Everton, sold by Jose Mourinho, brought back for almost £100 million, and he has scored in his debut second time round today. That is the big story of the game. Handball from Kovacic. Free kick to Arsenal midway inside their own half, and more of those ironic cheers from Arsenal fans who feel that they haven't quite been given the decisions they deserve today. Here comes N'Golo Kante. He'll replace Kovacic. As you say, Clinton, you're trying to chase a game. This is not the guy you want coming into the midfield against you, N'Golo Kante.
No way. He just snuffs out dangers. He's unbelievable, N'Golo Kante, but he's had an injury, so he's just come back into the Chelsea squad. So another big player that they got. As you said earlier, Connor, Chelsea's bench is really good. Their squad is fantastic this season.
Yeah. You know, it'll be a long season. There'll be twists and turns along the way, but it is going to take some injury crisis to leave Thomas Tuchel in a position where he doesn't have a quality player in every position. He's just got layers and layers of them. Little high five between Tuchel and Kovacic there. This will be a big win for him. Remember last season Arsenal did the league double over Chelsea. Thomas Tuchel will want to get the win here. Now there's a delay, there's a head injury. I think is it Reece James who's gone down?
Yeah.
And there is concern from players of both teams who immediately signalled towards the touchline for someone to come on. I didn't see what happened. I think he jumped for the ball.
He went up with Tavares. I think Tavares has just caught him as they've gone up for the ball. But he was credit Tavares. He's the first one over to put him back on his side, to be fair.
Might have fallen awkwardly as well. And Reece James, one of the goal scorers for Chelsea today. In the past he's played Arsenal 3 times, he's lost them all. It doesn't look like he is going to lose today. Reece James, who's been a favourite of Thomas Tuchel since the new manager has arrived. James is Chelsea's most used player in all competitions since Thomas Tuchel has joined the club. And plenty of concern here that they just want to make sure he's okay. Players from both teams have all come and huddled around him. And the medical staff are just trying to make Reece James as comfortable as he can be, lying on the pitch down there, away to our left-hand side. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. Georgia Hall has the clubhouse lead at Carnoustie in the Women's Open. There is coverage of that right now on Sports Extra. Match of the day 2 tonight, 10:30 on BBC One, where you can see today's and yesterday's goals from the Premier League, including those of Manchester United's comeback for a draw on the south coast against Southampton today, and Tottenham's win at Molineux. And he seems to be, is it his wrist? We're just getting to see on the screen here. Reece James, maybe he fell awkwardly on his hand, I'm not sure. But he's been helped back up to his feet. He looks a little bit shook. But hopefully that is nothing too serious, just a shock rather than anything else. Muted applause from Arsenal fans who'll never give much to Chelsea players. But he makes his way off the pitch. For the moment, Chelsea down to 10 men, but it looks like Reece James will be okay to continue. We'll go for an update for the golf in just a moment, but Arsenal do have a corner here, which Pepe will take. Left-hand side, plays it in. Better delivery. Flashing header away as far as Suarez on the edge of the penalty area. Now Lukaku plays it into the box. Header won by Aubameyang, and it's saved by Mendy.
How is no one got in the end of that? It's a fantastic header back across from Aubameyang, but the ball eventually goes into Mendy's arms. But surely that's where that out-and-out striker, Connor, that is where you come alive in and around the box. But good header from Aubameyang.
Back to Carnesti, the final round heating up. Ian Carter.
Georgia Hall with the clubhouse lead at 11 under par, but 3 players on the closing stretch of holes at 12 under par. Nana Kurtz Madsen, who has just bogeyed the 15th, Anna Nordqvist, who's just parred the 15th, and Madeline Sagström, who's just birdied the 17th in sensational fashion. All 3 of those Scandinavians at 12 under. Hall currently in 4th place, but with the clubhouse lead at 11 under.
Thanks very much to Ian Carter here at the Emirates. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. And a reminder that golf highlights tonight, BBC 2 at 11 p.m. Reece James is okay after that awkward fall. He'll push it in front of Mason Mount. Mount's attempt to cross is blocked by Tavares. Nuno Tavares puts it out for a Chelsea corner. Time is running out for Arsenal. They have a quarter of an hour remaining. They trail 2-0.
Yeah, it's a struggle. They haven't created any clear-cut chances, but as I said earlier, it looks like Chelsea are the team who's most likely to score at the moment. And Reece James, I think he's been excellent down the right wing back. Good ball into Mason Mount, and well defended by Arsenal there.
And by the way, if you are keen to watch those golf highlights earlier than 11 o'clock tonight, from 8 o'clock they'll be available on the BBC iPlayer. This is Christensen for Chelsea, who've taken the corner short. Back out to Alonso, now into the penalty area to Mason Mount. Plenty of energy still in the legs of these Chelsea players. Christensen onto N'Golo Kante. And this is where the game management is so important now from Thomas Tuchel's team. They just want to see this out. They should have done enough. Of course, they would love a third goal. That would really put the seal on it. 2-0 will be enough as long as they can deny Arsenal opportunities. As cross to Rudiger from the far side is too close to Bernd Leno. They try to get some whip on the outside of the right boot, but not enough spin. And it was an easy take for the goalkeeper. Right, let's look around the stadium. Body language of Arsenal fans.
Just saying that they're frustrated because Leno's got the ball and no one ain't making no options for them to get on the ball. And
here come Arsenal down the right hand side. Pepe beaten by Rudiger. Chelsea's defence have been so solid today. Rudiger to N'Golo Kante. He'll skip away from Smith Rowe. Arsenal have tried, but they don't have the quality. Here is Lukaku, bearing down on the penalty area, pushes it in front of Reece James, drags Mari out of position. To the edge of the box again, and Mason Mount scoops it in. Lukaku's header off the crossbar. It's a brilliant save from Leno. Leno saved it onto the woodwork. Bullet header from Lukaku after Mount's cross. That deserved to be a goal, but credit to Bernd Leno. That is the save of the match. Probably the save of the weekend.
Oh, what a save. What a save. I said goal, Connor. Before he's even said it, I thought goal because he's dangerous in the 6-yard box. But the save from Leno to tip it onto the crossbar is fantastic reflex save, and credit Leno. But that's where Lukaku wants it. You put the ball in the box, he's a danger. But great save from Leno.
Chelsea fans really enjoying themselves. They're behind the goal that their team are attacking in this second half. Second Lukaku goal really would have put the cream on. He waves and applause to the Chelsea fans who are singing his name. I'm sure one or two of them still have Chelsea shirts from 10 years ago with his name on it. He's patting a club crest on his chest, Lukaku. He is back. Chelsea waiting to take the corner because Granit Xhaka is it Xhaka down there is having, no, I'm not sure it is Xhaka actually. One of the Arsenal players is having his hamstring stretched out. Calf maybe. No, they're going to have to make a change. So Arsenal being forced into another change here late on. 2-0 down, 12 minutes to play, but so lucky that it wasn't 3-0. Leno denying Lukaku a second goal of the afternoon. Well, Arsenal preparing to bring on a substitute. And it's going to be Florian Balogun who started, the striker, the defeat last week against Brentford. He is going to come on for the closing stages of this one. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2, and the reaction and fallout of this from Arsenal fans is going to be very interesting indeed. Losing to Brentford in their opening game. Today their first home match of the season, first game that the crowd have been allowed in to fill all the seats in a year and a half. And Arsenal 2-0 behind against Chelsea. Balogun is on. And it all smacks of too little too late. Corner to Chelsea, which will be taken by Alonso. Short run up, left footed delivery, header by Holding, falls to Reece James. His shot blocked by Murray. Arsenal haven't got it away yet. Balogun with his first touch will scoop it forward. Jorginho wins it back for Chelsea. Aimless ball to the left wing. There's no one out there for Chelsea. And Suarez shepherds it out for a throw.
Yeah, Chelsea have been too good for Arsenal this afternoon so far, Connor. And plain and simple, Chelsea are going for the title. Arsenal are not. I think Arsenal not going to struggle. They won't even make it nowhere near the top four. So it's going to be a struggle for Arsenal this season.
Just to confirm, it was Martinelli who was injured who went off for the arrival of Balogun. Balogun, this is his home Premier League debut now. Throw in for Arsenal. Left-hand side, Nuno Tavares, the new signing from Benfica, to take. Aubameyang makes a run for it. Tavares throws. Gets it back again. Crossing position on the left-hand side. Tavares tries to run into the box. Good challenge, Reece James. Excellent defending from the right wing-back. But Chelsea give it away. Good work from Emile Smith-Rowe to the byline for Arsenal, left-hand side. Tries to cut it back for Tavares. But guess who? N'Golo Kante is in. Interception for Chelsea, and he clears it away towards Lukaku. And Lukaku plays it off Pablo Mari and out for a throw into Chelsea.
And that's what happened last season against Chelsea, for Chelsea last season, Connor, is where the ball comes out. Timo Werner weren't holding the ball up. Now they have got someone, even if they're under pressure, he can bring under pressure, earn free kicks and earn throw-ins like that. I think it's been a brilliant debut from Romelu Lukaku.
Hakim Ziyech is preparing for his introduction, just back from a shoulder injury. 3-0 against Crystal Palace, 2-0 today against Arsenal. And the hype that is building around Chelsea and their Premier League title aspirations will not be dampened by this opening week of the new season. Lukaku in front of Mount into the penalty area. Cross hits Holding. In comes Havertz to try and get it ahead of Leno. Leno was brave, the goalkeeper. One German against another. Arsenal get it away. This is Lokonga out of defence. Not a great ball. I mean, Aubameyang will sprint after it, but he had no chance of getting that, and that sort of sums up Arsenal's performance today. They're trying, but the quality isn't quite good enough.
Hit the nail right on the head there, Connor. The quality is not good enough. It's different levels. Chelsea are at a different level to where Arsenal want to be at this precise moment, and it's just not been good enough for Arsenal this afternoon.
Last 10 years, Arsenal have lost 5 of their opening home Premier League matches here at the Emirates. They traditionally don't come out of the traps firing on all cylinders. Mikel Arteta is going to face some scrutiny. I guess that this is always a difficult game, but the pressure now on the next game against Manchester City, which again is one of those difficult games, but the margins of error squeeze tighter and tighter. Free kick to Chelsea. Azpilicueta will take his time on it, knowing that time is very much in Chelsea's favour. Mason Mount, a player who's been replaced by Ziyech. Jorginho, midway inside his own half, turns and rolls it back to Mendy. No stress now for Chelsea. Clearance from Mendy to Azpilicueta. That's the first thing he's done wrong today. Azpilicueta doesn't control it. Ball goes out for a throw-in, which Smith-Rowe takes quickly. Cross from Tavares. Good play again by Reece James. It will go out for a corner, but so many attempted Arsenal crosses today have been blocked by the Chelsea defenders.
And that's gone out of football, where fullbacks now don't want to stop the crosses. He's done that brilliantly today, Reece James. Got out to the winger or even to the fullback and stopped the crosses in.
Muted Arsenal crowd looking on. And you glance your eyes around the stadium, hardly anyone standing up. They're glued to their seats. It has been a sobering start to the new campaign for Mikel Arteta. Goals from Lukaku and Reece James, if you're just joining us on 5 Live, of Chelsea 2-0 in front. 7 minutes of normal time to go. Pepe's delivery. Mendy comes, palms it away, gets it out of the penalty area. First touch for Ziyech, the substitute, the former Ajax man. He'll send it into the Arsenal half. N'Golo Kante was the furthest player forward for the visitors. Smith Rowe, throw back with his socks rolled down around his calves. Makes a little swashbuckling run. That's really good from Smith Rowe. To Pepe on the left wing. Gets to the byline. Held up again by Reece James. He's been tigerish today and he tackles Pepe. And Pepe has just not been able to profit today at all.
I'm surprised he's still on the pitch, Connor. I am surprised he hasn't made it. Took him off. But maybe with Martinelli picking up an injury, he stayed on the pitch.
Here is Tavares into the feet of Balogun. Balogun can't make it stick. Just bounced off him. Chelsea running out. Ziyech was trying to find Lukaku, who goes out of play. Arsenal don't take the throw in from the right position. And then the referee says, hang on, it's an Arsenal throw anyway. The Arsenal fans not happy. Lady in front of me is waving her spectacles at the referee, questioning his eyesight. But it is a Chelsea throw. Azpilicueta waves away Reece James, then eventually does throw it. It's all just delaying tactics here to run down the clock. And a few Arsenal fans are beginning to make their way towards the exits. Rueful expressions on their faces. Chelsea fans, though, are going to go out into the London evening full voice and very good humour. Here's Ziyech. Is he onside? Has crept in behind Pablo Mari. Ziyech into the penalty area. Step over, finds some space. Suarez, though, ensures it doesn't get through to Alonso on the far side. Arsenal can't get it away. Ziyech going to get another chance. Cross from the left. Blocked by the first defender. Comes to Reece James. Chelsea will remain on the attack here. This is Jorginho. Back to Azpilicueta. And he just slows things down. Holds the ball near the halfway line. Arsenal can't get a kick. 2-0 down, 5 minutes to play. Surely there's no coming back now. Christensen. 8th time he's faced Arsenal in his career. Andreas Christensen. He's only been on the winning side against them once in the past. This is about to become number 2 for the man who played against England in the Euro 2020 semi-final at Wembley not so long ago. N'Golo Kante onto Kai Havertz. Chelsea look in very good shape. Mendy. They're just passing it around here. They are denying Arsenal possession. Mendy's clearance up to the halfway line. Header won by Mari. Smith Rowe onto Balogun. Reece James again. How many tackles has Reece James made today?
Loads, Connor, you're right. He's been outstanding, to be fair. He made the first goal, scored the second goal. I think he's been brilliant.
Here is Ziyech, full of energy since coming on, trying to pick out Lukaku. Oh, poor defending by Tavares. He should have cleared. Lukaku in the penalty area to Havertz, through the goalkeeper's legs, and Leno just managed to sit on it. And it's a good save again from Bernd Leno. Chelsea really could be 3-4 goals up in this. Leno's made 2 very good saves in the second half.
He has a good play again from Lukaku. It's just so matured so much. I know I keep talking about him, but it was all about him this afternoon, and he's been excellent so far.
No, you're right. His goal will get the headline, but his interchange of play with Havertz and Mount has been great to watch, and Ziyech since he's come on. And this new mature Romelu Lukaku is ready to fit in to a Chelsea team that have already shown they can win the Champions League. Now, with the addition of Lukaku, can they go and win the Premier League? Mendy's clearance up towards Lukaku, who holds off Mari. Mari's already on a yellow, may have fouled him there.
That's no different to the first half from where he got booked. It's a foul.
I think Mari's lucky there. The referee is saying that Lukaku actually wrapped his arms around the defender, around backwards, but it looked like Mari fouled him to me. Here is Tavares on the left for Arsenal. 3 minutes of normal time to go. Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2. Lukaku and James the scorers in the first half. And if anything, the only slight disappointment for Thomas Tuchel is that they haven't been able to add to the tally in the second half. They still might do, of course. Ziyech to the edge of the area. Tries to turn and shoot. Came off holding and spins out for another Chelsea corner.
First time I'd say a Chelsea players picked the wrong pass there. A bit greedy from Ziyech. Alonso came speeding on the outside. He should slide in Alonso, but it was good defending from Arsenal in the end. But it's been like men against boys today so far, Connor.
Arsenal fans leaving in their droves now. There are going to be more empty red plastic seats in view at the full-time whistle than bums on seats around here. Chelsea fans going nowhere, of course. They want to celebrate this one. Banner, which is being proudly displayed by the Chelsea fans, reads Champions of Europe. And they will be reminding everyone of that wherever they go this season. Reece James gets a standing ovation from those Chelsea fans as he goes across to take the corner. Chelsea ready to flex further muscles by introducing Timo Werner. Here comes the corner, played in by Reece James and headed out by Balogun, and out for another corner. Mikel Arteta, we just had a close-up of him on our screen. He looks a little bit broken down there, head down, staring at the ground. This has not been a good day at the office. The latest Chelsea corner, left-hand side. Reece James sends it in. Havertz tries to get there. Leno jumps higher than him, and his punch will put it out for... They throw it to Chelsea, and they will remain on the attack. Just over 1 minute of the 90 to go, and it will be Havertz who makes way for the introduction of Timo Werner. One German replaces another.
Yeah, he's had a good day, Havertz. We didn't see the best of him last season, but I think we will see the best of Havertz this season. He's still a young boy. He's adapting to life in this country in the Premier League, but he's looked really positive today. And as I said, that front three that played today can cause problems. Then you throw Pulisic, Timo Werner into it. They've got really good attacking options, Connor. Arsenal,
no goals today. They only scored 24 home goals in the Premier League last season. That was the fewest Arsenal have scored at home since 1979-80. Having lost to Brentford in the opening game and now to Chelsea, it is going to be very difficult for Arsenal fans to find glasses that are half full. Ball played into the penalty area. Lukaku jumps and gets a header, but it was the top of his head. He was at full stretch. He couldn't send it goal bound. Reece James with a delivery which Pablo Mari is able to clear away. Mari gets it out of the penalty area, but back out to Reece James. He's had a great game. James and Azpilicueta rock solid on the right hand side for Chelsea today. Here is Azpilicueta. Turns. Aubameyang is lurking, but not really giving any sort of intent that he's got a challenge. N'Golo Kante will hop, skip and jump away from Tavares, and Tavares, to his credit, lunges in and puts it out for a throw. Tavares thinks it's going to be an Arsenal throw. The assistant said no, and Tuchel's gone nuts, because initially the assistant thought it was a Chelsea throw, and then he changed his mind. And Thomas Tuchel, even 2-0 up, things like that will rankle with him.
Yeah, he wants it done properly, and it was a Chelsea throw. The linesman did get it wrong, to be fair to you, but yeah, that's the standards he set. He wants everything done properly, Tuchel.
Last season, Romelu Lukaku scored 24 goals in Serie A. That was 4 more than the combined total of Werner, Tammy Abraham, Olivier Giroud and Kai Havertz in the Premier League. So, you know, if you could add Lukaku's goals to the goals that were there last season, well then, Chelsea would have scored as many goals as the champions Manchester City. Aubameyang flicks the ball into the penalty area. Christensen had to be alert there on the edge of his own 6-yard box, but cool and calm. Grace under pressure. He heads it back to Edouard Mendy. We're in stoppage time at the end of the game.
Defensively, they've been good as well, to be fair to you, Connor. Yeah, Trevor Chalobah, who played last week and played well. They got Thiago, they got Kurt Zouma. They've got a lot of good. Their squad is just packed with full of superstars, Chelsea's.
It's set to beat Chelsea's day in London. London derby, much anticipated, great atmosphere at kick-off where the Arsenal fans were really up for it, and the opening minutes of the game their team started hell for leather, and we thought maybe, just maybe, Arsenal were going to have a crack at this. But at Premier League level, you need more than desire, you need a lot of quality, and Arsenal have not had that quality today. Big names will come back. Ben White, who misses out today, Alexandre Lacazette, Thomas Partey, Gabriel, Eddie Nketiah. There are players who will come back in, but Clinton Morrison, are those players going to be enough to make the difference?
No, I think Lacazette will come in and Partey, they will make difference to Arsenal, but it's just a struggle at the moment. If you don't win football matches, you've got no confidence in your team, and these Arsenal players are playing with no confidence. It's even difficult this season with fans being in. Last season you could hide, Connor, not literally hide, but hide because there's no fans there, but fans here now, they see everything, and if you're not going to put a shift in, then they're going to let it known. And today it's just been, they've been miles apart from a classy team, Chelsea. This ain't going to determine Arsenal's season playing against Chelsea. They're title contenders, but they need to start winning football matches because Mikel Arteta will come under pressure.
At the start of another season, Arsenal fans have showed up. They have bought their tickets, they have bought their replica shirts, they have got behind the team in the early stages, they have cheered the new signings. All the rest of it is N'Golo Kante runs into the penalty area here. But thousands and thousands of Arsenal fans now departing the Emirates looking absolutely gloomy. Is it to be another disappointing campaign? Remember, the first time since the mid-90s that Arsenal do not have European football. Are they to become a mid-table club? I mean, it just feels unthinkable.
I'd agree with you though, Connor. I think they will be a mid-table club, and it is unthinkable, to be fair to you.
That's it, it's all over. 2-0. Chelsea get a big win. It keeps up their 100% start to this campaign. The headline's grabbed by Romelu Lukaku, his debut goal second time round, and he's returned to Chelsea after 7 years away. In truth, it was a decade since he had worn the Chelsea shirt, but he has fitted right back in again like a glove. Reece James scored the second, deserved for him in what was a very impressive performance, but you would really struggle to pick out a Chelsea player who didn't play well today. They looked every bit Champions League winners. It finishes Arsenal 0, Chelsea 2.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, Connor. I think it's been an excellent performance from Chelsea. 3 players I'd mentioned, Azpilicueta, Reece James and Romelu Lukaku. I thought them 3 were outstanding, but I totally agree with you. The whole Chelsea team were really good, and Arsenal lacklustre. First 15 minutes really good. Other than that, didn't really deserve anything.
Well, last season Arsenal ended by winning their final 5 games. Best winning run since Mikel Arteta had been in charge. But they start this season with back-to-back defeats, and they play Manchester City away next.
Arsenal fans, do you need to talk? Chris Sutton and Robbie Savage are here for you. 6:06 in 10 minutes' time. 08085 909 693. On 85058, Arsenal fans getting in touch. Kurt, it's not all Arteta's fault, but we've seen enough that he needs to go. He helped Arsenal win back-to-back FA Cups as a player, but the longer he stays, the more he taints his legacy. Worse stats as a manager than Emery. Enough is enough. Mark, I expected us to lose to Chelsea today, but the complete lack of tactical identity is worrying. 18 months in, it's getting harder to see what Arteta is trying to achieve rather than easier. Do you know, Clinton, what Mark says there about feeling the way he feels despite the fact he expected that defeat? It's not just the fact that they've lost, it is how they've lost.
Exactly, and that's this Arsenal Football Club, Fossey, we're talking about, and he expected to lose. I get that there's a gulf in gap and in quality between Chelsea and Arsenal at the moment, but it's the manner, like he's saying to them, just roll your sleeves up and give it a right goal. I'm not saying they didn't give it a goal, because they did give it a goal, but they were just outclassed. But that's Arsenal fans expecting to lose to Chelsea. Years gone by, that would never have been heard of. And you remember last season, Arsenal did well against Chelsea. So you know what? It's just disappointing to hear that from Arsenal fans. Do I think they'll come again? Yeah, but it will be a long time before Arsenal come again, because really they spent the most money. I said that, but the players, the gap in players that they're signing compared to the other top teams is nowhere near at the moment.
In their defence, so you've got Aubameyang, who could only come off the bench. He's had COVID. Lacazette's had COVID, can't play. Partey's injured again. Ben White, who they spent £50 million on, is ill and couldn't play. How much does that mitigate?
Yeah, it does. They're four regular starters in the team, and then they lost Kieran Tierney. He could be out. He come off. So yeah, they are 4 starters, and they're big players. Ben White will be a good player for Arsenal. Obviously, Aubameyang's the captain, and I think he's got a lot to prove. Lacazette, I like him as a striker. I thought he was decent last season for Arsenal. And Partey has a lot to prove in midfield. I think he's outstanding, but coming from Atletico Madrid, he hasn't really hit the ground running, picked up a lot of injuries. So they need to get these big players back, though, sooner rather than later, because these fans today, they were behind them for 15-20 minutes, and then after that, they just went a bit quiet. But you have to credit the fans. They came in at the start and done was singing and that. But as a group of players, you have to give these fans something to cheer about, Crossy. And at the moment, it's sad to say these Arsenal players ain't doing that.
But the cameras barely left Romelu Lukaku from the full-time whistle. And in fairness, Connor, it was before full-time that he was just applauding the Chelsea fans. He turned to them about 3 or 4 times before one set piece, having the time of his life today. Connor.
Sorry, my microphone had been turned down. He looks like a guy who's returned home. And it's not always the case in football. He was at Chelsea. He didn't get to play very often in the Premier League, just one Premier League appearance in his original stint when he was very raw and very young. But he does have that bit of Chelsea DNA in his system, and you could see with those fans that they want to welcome him back in. It's always good. It doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what the transfer fee is, but if it's a big one, you want to score goals early. Lukaku getting his first goal here just sets him up now. I was at Manchester City yesterday, Jack Grealish scored, same story. You don't want it to go weeks and weeks without that first goal. Chelsea fans are delighted that they have Lukaku, and you know what, Steve, it's the goal that's going to take the headlines, but for me it was the hold-ups, the layoffs, the general interchange of play with his new teammates, the likes of Ziyech,